What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 14 JJK Chapter 362 Advertisement Early morning 2 days later. Gojo Satoru brought Itadori Yuji to the House of Everything. Hello, Ryuichi, see what good things I bring you. Hey, don't treat me like an object. Hearing the voice, Ryuichi covered the manga in his hand on his face. Don't pretend to be asleep. Come and witness this historic moment together. What historic moment? Gojo Satoru said nothing, and handed Sukuna's finger to Itadori Yuji. Looking at it this way, it's really disgusting enough. With a mouth open and her tongue stretched out, Sukuna's fingers were rolled into her abdomen. Bump, heartbeat, a huge curse radiated along his skin. The black curse mark appeared on his face again. Ah. Gojo Satoru held the door with one hand, waiting calmly for Itadori Yuji's devouring to end. Will it be occupied? This question surfaced in his mind. If he is really occupied by Ryōmen Sukuna, he can only be killed. Although somewhat inhumane, this is indeed the best solution. And it can also directly dispose of two fingers, thought of this. Gojo Satoru glanced at Ryuichi subconsciously. I found him calm, and seemed to be indifferent to what might happen later. Haha, that's why I chose this place. Thinking of this, I got rid of distracting thoughts and concentrated on waiting until the matter was over. Hey, this stuff is so terrible that you want to laugh. Gojo Satoru saw that Itadori Yuji absorbed 1/10 of Sukuna. A smile appeared on his face while still maintaining his original mind. You kid, really is a once-in-a-millennium prodigy, and it's suitable for our Jujutsu college. Allier, come on, transfer to us, I will be your Jujutsu teacher. Gojo Satoru suddenly approached Itadori Yuji, hitting his shoulder with an arm. How about, invincible, I am your teacher, do you feel excited? Itadori Yuji was the first time he met such a narcissistic person, and it was a little bit embarrassing. By the way, who is the Ryōmen Sukuna you were talking about? He was a curse teacher who dominated the entire Jujutsu world 2,000 years ago when he... Tap the desktop with your finger. Telling stories, trouble you to go back to your school to tell. I am the House of Everything, a place to do business. Advertisement Ryuichi is a little impatient. If he doesn't speak, he will really treat himself as if he doesn't exist. Well, to put it simply, he is a very bad guy. How does that compare to the two of you? Gojo Satoru grinned when he heard this. My words, it may be a little troublesome to deal with him who is completely physically. And this guy may not use 10 numbers. Hearing this, Itadori Yuji opened his eyes wide, and shouted in surprise, that's amazing. Yes, I also think he is very powerful, but he is too indifferent and impersonal. Yin, I feel so too. Call, a strong wind blew by. The two were blown to the door in an instant. It's the first time I've seen bad talk in front of others. It seems that you two are fine, I won't give it away. Bang. Shut the two of them outside. No longer pay attention to these two live treasures. Gojo Satoru saw that he was kicked out and spread his hands to Itadori Yuji. Show that you were used to it. Let's go, I have to enroll you in school today. From now on, you will be classmates with Fushiguro Megumi yesterday. Get along well in the future. Yes, after the two left. Ryuichi flipped through the manga on the table and said without looking back. Come out, everyone is gone. Wow, the window opens. A figure crouched in and got in. Haha, boss Ryuichi, it's been a long time since we met. I think it was 10 years ago when we met. Why come here today? Ryuichi doesn't want to talk nonsense, this cursed spirit is living more and more like a human. Be polite with this guy, it must be endless. Haha, boss Ryuichi is really quick to talk. Compared to my reward, have you already received it, then? Since Zenin Ryuichi disappeared, the feeling of being peeped has never appeared again. Although it is clear in my mind that the matter is over. But it's safer to confirm it yourself. If you can ask for a drink, it's even better. Solved, our transaction has been completed. Ha, great, then I will. Leave? His eyes were lifted, his voice was light, and although he was walking, his body remained motionless. What's the matter, just say it. Hey, nothing happened at all, but since the boss of Ryuichi asked, let me talk about it. Did you have any wine you drank last time? Advertisement? Gudong. Speaking of wine, I couldn't help swallowing. 10 years later, the deliciousness of that glass of wine has not only been forgotten. Instead, as time passed, the imprint was engraved in the depths of the soul. But it can't see Ryuichi, and the past 10 years can be regarded as scratching. Buzzing. The desktop was shaking, and a glass of red wine appeared in front of it. What are you going to change? The voice is light, without any emotion. But to the slit ghost, these words sounded like the devil's whisper. It seems to want to sign some kind of contract with it. Well, boss, do I have what you want? Slippery ghosts have been active in human society for so many years. For Zenin Ryuichi, the attitude of obviously wanting to exchange things couldn't be more familiar. But it seems that there is really nothing worth swapping now. It's nothing, it's the stones you found, this glass of wine, even if it's your extra gift. In the future, if I want to drink, I will use 10 stones in exchange. This requirement is not high, isn't it? The slicker frowned and looked at the wine in the glass, then looked at the opposite Ryuichi. The wrinkles on the face deepened at this moment. Okay, I agree, he has no room for bargaining, however, this is not difficult for him. During these 10 years, remove the stones delivered to Ryuichi. There are still a few dollars in the hand, if you concentrate on finding it. A drink in a year or two is not a problem. Guru, click, bang, click, click. He picked up the glass and drank the liquid in 2s or 3s. Whoosh. Great king. Things have changed. A sip of cigarette after drunk, I have beaten a living god, ha ha ha. What? Jump into the depths of a park on the outskirts of Tokyo. Hiss, who? At this time, someone broke through the illusion and entered the cave mansion? The slippery ghost was horrified. For the convenience of coming here, the slick ghost moved the cave mansion directly. A withered red claw sticks out of the crack. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. In the midair to the left of the throne, a dark crack appeared. Turned out directly from the window. A hole is looming. Chapter 363 Advertisement with the voice coming out. A figure gradually emerged from the crack. The black curse power turned into a terrifying black flame, covering the entire cave. Seeing this posture, the slick ghost who was still worried continued to lie on the throne. It turned out to be this kid, it shocked me, hiss, woo. As if the soul had been moisturized, the slippery ghost squinted at the top of the cave. He hummed an unknown opera in his nose, gradually. White smoke scattered around the throne. Where the smoke was covered, the black flame died out, directly vacating a vacuum area. Click. The red ghost tugged. The whole body jumped out from the gap. Subconsciously prepared to kneel on one knee, Yu Guang glanced at the throne. The one sitting on it is not the king? Yep. Who are you? Taking advantage of the king's refusal to sit on the throne. You don't want to live anymore? Call, chi. As soon as the voice fell, the surrounding flames immediately surged towards the throne. Putting the Buddha down will swallow him in the next second. Yo, little guy, you should know that this kind of attack can't hurt me. Feeling the hot air around him, the slippery ghost even took a few mouthfuls comfortably. Humph. Why are you here? Where's our king? Ibaraki boy put his curse power away and scanned everything in the cave. Found that everything here is different from before. Can't help but sigh inwardly, this old guy killed the king? Impossible. The king is invincible. Thinking of this, his lips closed tightly, and his eyes were fierce. The armor on his body exploded with scarlet curse power. Turned into a sharp sword, slashed towards the slick ghost. Snapped. Reach out and pat. The scarlet blade shattered instantly. I said that this kind of attack can't hurt me. If you want to know what happened recently, just keep your attitude right. Hearing that, Ibaraki boy was unwilling but powerless. Advertisement. Where did our king go? Also, why are you here? Hiss, who? That's a long story, please listen to it slowly. In half an hour. Ibaraki Doko looked sluggish and looked at the slick ghost incredulously. That invincible king was actually killed by a human? It sounded like hearing that the mouse killed the lion and made people laugh. However, looking at the slippery ghost's serious expression, a trace of fear flashed in a pair of ghost eyes. The slippery ghost looked at the sluggish Ibaraki Doko. Can't help but slap his mouth twice. Look at the kid who scared him, he won't be able to say anything. You couldn't say anything when you came out, what's wrong? Hearing the questioning, Ibaraki Doko woke up. For the past 100 years, I have been guarding the god's curse in another space. Recently, I found that the magic power it absorbs has decreased a lot. If this continues, the awakening of the gods will be delayed longer than expected. What? At the same time, Jujutsu High School meeting room. Gojo Satoru, you really have a question about Ryōmen Sukuna, do you have anything to explain? Ji Shui Shushu topped the table with elbows, clasped her hands in front of her face, leaving only a pair of muddy eyes. Staring at Gojo Satoru sitting opposite. Oh, I said, why did you find me specially today? It turned out to be for him. Why, do you have any comments on my decision? The voice is very soft, but it is full of threats to the people around. Gojo Satoru, you are a jujutsu teacher. You should consider it for all mankind, not your personal preference. That is, if you don't kill him now, who can guarantee that the next finger is not his limit? It's still too young, go back and kill him. People around are struggling to express their opinions. Looking at the posture, it's like killing Itadori Yuji, and the world will be peaceful. Oh, a bunch of short-sighted guys. That said, I will protect this guy, and I will be responsible if something goes wrong. Upon hearing this, Jishui Shushu couldn't help standing up. Bang. Slap the desktop with both hands. Gojo Satoru, pay attention to your identity. You are now a participant of the Jujutsu Association, not a college teacher. What you have to do is to clean up all the maggots hidden in the dark for the safety of all mankind. Instead of playing hooligans with us here, when Gojo Satoru heard the words, he didn't say a word, and pressed him with righteousness, thinking too much. Advertisement, Gojo Satoru. Your current attitude is very problematic. Do you consider yourself a member of the Jujutsu Association? Or, are you going to be a staff of your house of all things with peace of mind? Upon hearing this, Gojo Satoru couldn't help but recall what Zenin Ryuichi said. A smile gradually appeared on his face. Seeking flowers. Haha, you guys are thinking about something wrong. I'm sitting here with you in meetings, just because I want to, not because you are too good. I'm sitting here, you should feel honored if I don't want to sit here anymore. Then you are about to worry. Unconsciously or unconsciously, the light blue curse power floated on him. The invisible pressure is like a boulder pressing on the chest. Let them breathe a little. Well, I have something to do. There is a student coming today, so I won't play with you. Bye. Gojo Satoru got up and left, ignoring the angry expressions of others. President, this guy is getting too much. If this goes on, the association will soon become his voice. That's right, President, especially after the appearance of Zenin Ryuichi, this kid is getting less and less of us in his eyes. 0. It can't go on like this anymore. From now on, Jujutsu College will become the talent training base of all things house. Jishui Shushu pressed both hands to calm them down. Since he is unwilling to do it, we can't force him. Itadori Yuji has just enrolled. In order to improve the quality of freshmen, I think I should post more elimination tasks so that their potential can be stimulated. When everyone heard the words, they were taken aback for a moment, and then smiled at each other. I agree that the quality of cursed spirit has improved significantly recently. More tasks must be arranged so that they can exercise more frequently. Yes, the most efficient way to learn is through actual combat. Since everyone has no opinion, let the people below arrange the task. When everyone heard the words, they got up and left the meeting. This matter must be implemented as soon as possible. Tokyo, Roppongi. Big liar. Dare to fool the local people. Say good sightseeing. Why is it here? Kugisaki Nobara frantically complained behind the three. Itadori Yuji stared at the building in front of him, the dark curse surrounding the building like smoke. Just standing here makes me feel uncomfortable. There was a big public fundraiser nearby, and when it ran into an abandoned building, Curse was born. Your task today is to go in and get rid of Curse. You can't let the guy Sukuna come out. Although he can kill Curse in seconds, it will affect the surrounding buildings. We are waiting for you outside, come on. Gojo Satoru reached out and gave a thumbs up. Earth. Chapter 364 Advertisement at the same time, the Zenin family. ZB people. Look at other families, the young master has already been selected, why haven't you moved here yet? Yes. Patriarch. The Zenin family can't live without the young master. If you have an accident one day, what should we do? Yes, hurry up and find a young patriarch, so that we can feel at ease. Several elders sat in the patriarch's room, arguing about the heir to the head of the family. The position of the young patriarch is vacant, and they have suffered a lot of blindness from other families. Especially Gojo and Kamo, both of big three sorcerer families. How can family glory be tainted by others in this way? So there was this scene of forced palace. Zenin Jibi's cheeks are pink, his eyes are slightly narrowed, and the air is still smelling of wine. The position of young patriarch can only be Zenin Ryuichi, others will not be considered. It looks like a hangover, but the bright light in his eyes, the sound of 5 or 80 sounds, is like a heavy hammer hitting the tabletop. No one is allowed to refute. As soon as this sentence came out, the people below quieted down. That stalwart figure appeared in their minds. Since the imperial contest, they have regarded this man as a member of the family in their hearts. However, they didn't take the family seriously. Even if he wanted to, he wouldn't ask for it. Hey, patriarch, think about it. Zenin Ryuichi has made it clear many times that he will not return to the family. If you must have him, the next generation of patriarchs is likely to have a fault. This sentence said the words in everyone's heart. You just show kindness again. If people don't appreciate it, you can't help it. Then Fushiguro Megumi, carrying Jujutsu for the Ten Shadow spells, the future achievement is no lower than that of the Gojo boy. Guru. It's strong like floating in the room. No way. Didn't the Fushiguro guy also made it clear that he wouldn't let Fushiguro Megumi return to the family? Zenin Jibi squinted his eyes slightly, raised the corner of his mouth, and looked at the person who was talking. Oh, then you tell me one to listen to? This? The people sitting down whispered. The names of Zenin Ryuichi and Fushiguro Megumi come first. The names of their backs are hard to tell at this moment. It seemed to be a blasphemy of those two names. I believe that you are not the only one in the family who want to set the young patriarch earlier. In this way, the road to family trials is opened again. As long as you have the ability to break through, then you will be our young patriarch. How many have objections? The following people looked at each other. His eyes are full of bitterness and helplessness. Advertisement. It's all arranged by the owner. Everyone stopped waiting and retreated one after another. After leaving the room, as the young patriarch after passing the trial, does that have quasi-special strength? Hey, it seems that he still hopes that Zenin Ryuichi can come back to be the head of the house. This is just gagging our mouth. You said, do you want to disclose this news to the House of all things? Maybe they will be interested? It's feasible. I'm going to meet with Vohesher recently. I'll talk about it. Very good. 2 days later, the House of Everything. Fuhesher sat opposite Ryuichi with a tangled face. What? It's disgusting by the mouse again. The number of times he can see the entanglement on his face is really not that many. No, I received a message today that the trial path of the Zenin family is about to start. Road to trial. What's the trouble with Zenin's family? Trouble? Hearing these 2 words, Fuhesher looked at Ryuichi strangely. That's not true. They're going to use this as a request to choose the young patriarch. Hearing that, a weirdness appeared on Ryuichi's connection. The road of trial sounds like a road, but it is indeed a confined space. Hidden in the back mountain of Zenin's house. Every time, many cursed spirits will be born inside. As far as Ryuichi knows, this space has not been open for decades. The number of cursed spirits inside must have reached a terrifying point. Turn it on now and say that it is to choose the owner of the house, and no one will refute it. It's on. What are you struggling with? The Zenin family did not exclude you in Weiwei. It seems that they are still imagining that you can return to the position of patriarch. The corner of Ryuichi's mouth lifted slightly, showing disdain. The position of patriarch is a burden to him. Thinking of this, Ryuichi's bright eyes stared at Fuhesher. Can you participate too? Yes, I want Weiwei to be the patriarch of the Zenin family. Vohesher said this, as if he had made up his mind. His eyes were full of firmness. Oh, I remember back then, didn't you disagree to sell the child to Zenin's family? Why do you want him to go back now? Ha ha ha. Don't you think that it is very interesting to let someone with a foreign surname be the head of the Zenin family? The Zenin family wants to buy Fushiguro Megumi back, because they want him to change his surname to Zenin. Advertisement of course, Vohesher would not agree to such a situation. Now it's different. They only said that there are quotas, but they didn't mention changing the surname. Even the old antiques had uncomfortable expressions in their minds. Do you need help? No, it's just a trial road. Hearing that, Ryuichi didn't say much. By the way, even if you pass, how can you make him a young patriarch? The opening of the trial road was originally prepared for the 2 of you, as long as I successfully pass the trial. The Zenin Niobe people will definitely agree to my proposal. Now that you have all thoughts about it, I wish you success. Fuhesher laughed, then turned and left. After leaving the House of Everything, Fuhesher went directly to Zenin's residence. Haha, old guy, I didn't think you were still alive. I am going to burn the paper for you today. This is not a waste. Oh, yes, I didn't buy paper. After seeing the Zenin GP people, Fuhesher was not at all polite. Up there is a cordial greeting. The servants on both sides broke out in a cold sweat when they heard this. They bowed their heads one after another, not daring to look at the face of the patriarch. Although the master humiliates his servants to death, it depends on the situation, right? The sound fell, and the space seemed to freeze. The 2 looked at each other and saw the fighting spirit in each other's eyes. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. The snow wolf shattered, and the pressure around it disappeared instantly. I'm not dead, although I really want to fight you, but it's not the time yet. I still have something to do. Howl. Howling, the blood wolf rushed towards Zenin. There was a glimmer of expectation in those muddy eyes. The next moment, thought of this. My purpose is very simple, just to let the juniors of Zenin family see what it means to be able to fight. That's it. If you guessed it right, this thing is. You guys are alive and well, how could I die before you? The scarlet killing intent spread all over his body, instantly condensing into a blood wolf on the top of his head. I want this family to change their surname to Fuhei. Upon hearing this, Zenin Niobe had a guess in his mind. I came to Zenin's house today, what I want to do, just say it. Chapter 365 Advertisement. The time has come to August. The temperature gradually rises, the weather is sultry, and dark clouds cover the sun. The weather is terrible, I feel it will rain in the next second, and I feel slimy. Fortunately, the weather here is much better than Sendai. What task is today? Upon hearing the question, Eiichi Kiyotaka turned to several people. Briefly described the task, and also popularized Itadori Yuji's cursed spirit level. Then, he pushed his glasses. Faint white light struck across the spectacle lens. This time is an emergency and abnormal situation, you need to remember. You absolutely cannot fight. When encountering a superior, you have only 2 choices, escape or die. So please follow your fears and don't be afraid of shame. Your mission is only to confirm and rescue the survivors. Finally, in the end, we must put your safety first. Rumble. There was a muffled thunder. There was a light rain in the sky. Cooperating with Eiichi Kiyotaka's instructions, it is more like a reminder from hell. At this moment, a sweep came from the door behind him. 23 Eiichi Kiyotaka motioned for them to go in first, and he is here to deal with it. Then he walked to the gate and negotiated with the people there. The 3 felt the heaviness in the air. Glancing at each other, he walked inside. Not long after, the sky was enveloped by a layer of black material.
Wow, it's dark. This is called the account. You will often see this thing in the future. It is too close to the residential area. You need to use this thing to hide us.
Fushiguro Megumi looked helpless, but Gojo Satoru was absent these days. He basically acts as an identity to give Xiaobai a lesson. Jade Dog. With both hands in a gesture, the curse is concentrated in the shadow. Hiss. Howl. An extremely handsome white jade dog appeared in front of the three of them. As soon as curse gets closer, it will remind us. Among the 10 shadow spells, Jade Dog was the first Shikigami he summoned.
It is also the Shikigami he uses the most. In this situation where the enemy's location is not clear, the Jade Dog is definitely the most reliable alarm.
Squeak. Pushing open the door, Jade Dog walked in front. Advertisement. The three found that the Jade Dog was not abnormal. So followed and walked in. After running with the Jade Dog for a while, I found that there seemed to be some problems with the route here. When I looked closely, I was suddenly startled in a cold sweat. This decoration is not in the style of a juvenile home at all. Hold on, at this time, Itadori and Wild Changwei came behind him. Look at the surrounding buildings. The horror came to my heart. This is a 2-story dormitory, right? Itadori raised his head and looked at the top of the ceiling, somewhat inconceivable. Although I have seen a lot of cursed spirit recently. But this is the first time I have seen someone who can change the construction of space. Calm down, this should be a duplex. Although Wild Rose felt in her heart, she didn't dare to think too much. Even a newly born super cursed spirit is a disaster for them. Fushiguro Megumi raised his head, and a chill rushed down the soles of his feet to the sky. Big beads of sweat flowed down his cheeks to the collar. This is the realm of birth created by the mantra. Since it was created by magic power, how did they just? Thinking of this, he widened his eyes, turned his head abruptly, and asked sharply, "Where is the door?" "The door is missing. We just came in from here, right? Really? Right?" Briar panicked, and it seemed that the worst had already happened. "My heart is extremely anxious. Don't worry, Jade Dog remembers the smell of the entrance." Fushiguro Megumi's voice, like a reassuring pill, comforted the two of them. But there was no peace in his heart. It is not difficult for a person to close his eyes and find the floral scent from a pile of gasoline. But let him find the source of gasoline from the smell of gasoline, which is very troublesome. "You follow me, don't get too far away from me." Fushiguro Megumi subconsciously touched the jade pendant on his chest. "I hope I can keep Gojo Satoru coming to us." Hearing this, Itadori and Wild Rose immediately hugged his left and right hands. "Fuhei, you are so reliable. With you, we will all be saved." "Yeah, you are much more reliable than Teacher Gojo." Hear the words. Fushiguro Megumi paused for a moment. Go on. Several people continued to move forward, cautiously along the way. At every intersection, let the Jade Dog do some inquiries first. Advertisement. Not long after, the three came to a place similar to a swimming pool. That is, look intently, under the wall opposite the pool. 3 humanoid bodies collapsed there. 2 of them have become skeletons and should have been dead for a long time. There is another, the lower body has disappeared, the blood is still flowing, and there is no breathing at this time. Itadori did not speak, and rushed forward to confirm the deceased's information. Okazaki Masa. Itadori's pupils dilated in an instant, and the gate of the youth home came out, and the mother's screams came to his ears. Unbearable in his eyes, he was deemed dead if he didn't see the child's body. That suffocating feeling, he has experienced. I want to take the body away. Bang. There was a loud noise. Itadori squatted on the ground, clutching his head. Are you crazy? Why are you hitting me? Wild Rose was at the back, also looking puzzled. I am not in the mood to reason with idiots. I just want to take you 2 out alive. These people, I didn't intend to save them, it would be better if they died. A cold voice floated in Itadori's ears. With a look of astonishment on his face, he asked loudly, what do you mean by, I didn't plan to leave them alone? Fushiguro Megumi didn't answer, but looked at Wild Rose and motioned for her to get closer. Even if such a person died in front of him, he would not have any mercy. Okay, I'm here. Growing up, he was more influenced by Vohesher and Gojo Satoru. This kind of curse power, are you already level 2? When Fushiguro Megumi said these words, the dark magical power surged. Everyone here is the same, they all carry serious charges. But at this moment, the aura on Fushiguro Megumi made her a little afraid to approach. This is a juvenile home, a place where juvenile offenders are held. Get closer to me. If before, my task was to come in and investigate the situation. Then now, my task is to take you away safely. Wild Changwei looked at Fushiguro Megumi in surprise. He didn't expect him to be so young that he already had the level of a second-level jujutsu teacher. Okazaki, driving without a license, hit a girl on the way after school, and this is the second time driving without a license. Fushiguro Megumi did not answer, but took a deep breath to calm down. Do you know where this is? Whatever you think is right, you don't care about others' perspectives. For some reason, Wild Rose saw this figure with a sense of security in her heart. This kind of people, when they were alive, they didn't meet me, even if they were lucky. Chapter 366 Advertisement. Fushiguro Megumi looked at the disappearing wild rose, feeling bad in his heart. Why didn't the jade dog feel the breath of curse? That is, looking around, suddenly found that the jade dog had been beaten into the wall at this time. Only one head was left exposed. Danger, run away. The brain kept sending Fushiguro Megumi the message of fleeing. He also chose to believe in instinct. Itadori, run away, look back for wild rose. Before the words fell, a powerful curse instantly wrapped the two of them. The horrible breath made the two of them take a breath. A human cursed spirit is standing beside them at the moment. The cyan skin and 4 black substances were inlaid on its head like scratches. Toad-like eyes appeared on the top of the head, and once the mouth was split, the whole face could not squeeze other organs. The upper body is bare, there is a circular hole in the chest, and the lower body is a dark purple, as if there are no legs. Just standing here still, the two people who were suppressed by the horrible aura could not move. Hurry up! Hurry up! Does the protective cover have time to open at such a close distance? Standing still in place, Fushiguro Megumi can only pin his hopes on the jade pendant. Itadori Yuji was in cold sweat at this moment, and his normally smug body looked like a specimen at this moment. He didn't listen to his orders at all. Hurry up! Hurry up! I also want to protect others. Grandpa's last words came to mind again. At this moment, his hand could move slightly. Bang! Touched a short knife around his waist. Itadori, don't. What? Fear to the extreme. That is anger. A roar rushed away from the fear in my heart. Itadori quickly slashed towards the cursed spirit with this hateful knife. Wow! The cursed spirit didn't seem to move, but it seemed to move again. Itadori's hand holding the handle of the knife fell from the air. The blade thrust into the ground with a click, and it broke into 2 halves. Blood was sprayed wantonly from the place where the wrist was broken. The strong smell of blood instantly filled the nasal cavities of 2 people. Things happened too quickly, and Itadori was looking at his broken wrist with an incredible expression. Suddenly, the severe pain pulled him back to the real world. Big beads of sweat left from his cheeks. At this moment, he can only endure the pain, not let Fushiguro Megumi be distracted. Cack. The other hand took off the strap that had been strapped to the knife. Wrap around the forearm to prevent excessive bleeding. But it only slowed down. Advertisement. After a long time, they will still die from bleeding too much. Perhaps it was the pain of the two. This cursed spirit began to excite at this time, seeming to preach its own power. Hey, Sukuna, I'm dead, and you can't survive. If you don't want to die, come and help. Itadori knew that the guy inside of him could perceive the situation outside. This kind of life and death crisis can only be used to force him to take action. I refuse. Even if you die, I still have 18 clones to use. If you give me the right to act, then I will kill the kid first, and then the woman. Fushiguro Megumi looked at the situation in front of him, and his belief in protecting his companions exceeded his fear of cursed spirit. Stepped up to Itadori. Don't ask him, I figured out a way to deal with this guy. What? You? Itadori found that Fushiguro Megumi's condition at the moment was something wrong. Chi. The figure cursed spirit found that something was wrong with this human being. The curse power on his body is actually much more. Tear. Like a bodybuilder, he tore off the purple cloth covering his lower body.
In an instant, it seemed to have evolved. Whoosh.
A flash appeared beside Fushiguro Megumi. Both hands attacked him like raindrops. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. The fierce attack was all absorbed by a shimmer. There are faint ripples on it. Seeing that the close physical attack was useless, it jumped backward, and a strong yellow light condensed in its hands. Boom. A ray of light flashed, and the two of them were unscathed behind the shield. Upon seeing the situation, cursed spirit clenched his teeth, beat his chest with both hands, and looked terrified. One instant. Stepping forward again, the attack speed with both hands even surpassed the visual capture limit. I just felt that there were a few black lights flying in the air. Fushiguro Megumi ignored his attack, but said to Itadori behind him. Itadori, next time you go out on a mission, just listen to me honestly. Your waywardness is likely to affect the lives of the whole team. After that, he turned his head to look at the attacking cursed spirit. At this moment, the pressure on him from this cursed spirit was greatly reduced. Because there was a figure in his heart at this moment. Just standing like this gave him an infinite sense of security. I should have done this long ago. I should have done this long ago. How can the mere ant's prestige be matched with the gods?
Call. The black cloth belt that was being worn by him, but was ignored, ignited a white light at this moment.
This is? Sukuna stared blankly at everything in front of her. Advertisement? Can such a cursed tool really be made by humans?
White light flashed, and Fushiguro Megumi seemed to change his clothes at the moment.
The original school uniform is now replaced by a blue collar and white body military uniform. The whole person was wrapped in a strong white curse. Diaresis Fuhei. You. That's amazing. The shock to the immediate situation is far greater than the pain in the wrist. If it weren't for missing a hand, he would definitely clap his hands and applaud, cheering for him. Fushiguro Megumi closed his eyes, feeling the power in his body. This power is really intoxicating. I want to feel it for a while, but I still have a companion waiting for me to save. So, please go and die. Sudden, Fushiguro Megumi's eyes opened sharply.
The white magic power instantly envelops it. Suddenly, the whole body stood still, unable to move.
From birth to now, it is the first time to feel fear. Chi. Fushiguro Megumi did not appreciate painful hobbies. Raise your hands gently. The left hand is made into the shape of a claw, and the right hand lowers the middle finger and ring finger in the middle. The little thumb and index finger are raised, and then both hands are joined together and printed. The surging curse power quickly poured into it. It's like it. Fushiguro Megumi drank it loudly. This is after he learned this seal. The first time it was used to meet the enemy, Li Qian's. After all, it consumes too much mantra power, so I use his mantra power reserve and use it twice. It may be in a state without magic power. Moo. Jade Dog. As soon as the handprint came out, the black Jade Dog chin jumped out of the shadow. The Jade Dog was surrounded by elephants and nodded desperately below. Pulling Itadori onto the elephant's back, he observed the surrounding environment. Itadori looked at the Jade Dog, who was searching for the smell with his eyes closed, with some doubts in his heart. Grandpa, am I still worthy of your last wish? I may not be able to protect others in the future. Smash the cursed spirit directly into the ground. The wild rose is below. Let's go down here. Boom. A giant elephant fell from the sky. The elephant rang. But he didn't ask, but looked at his broken arm. Bo bark. Find the location of Wild Rose. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. There is almost no time. Come up quickly. Let's find Wild Rose. The entire field of birth began to slowly collapse at this moment. Chapter 367 Advertisement Boom. The ground collapsed. Fushiguro Megumi and Itadori fell down on the elephant. Ah, he will fall to death. Itadori looked at the rapidly rising buildings around him. I couldn't help but scream out, shut up and it's okay. Boom. Smoke is everywhere. The two have reached the ground like a dog. Ah, you two are finally here. Briar was injured in her face and her body was weak. It looks like the curse is exhausted. Come on, we should go now. At this time, Fushiguro Megumi was wearing a blue and white military uniform, riding on the white elephant. It doesn't seem to have a taste. Okay, here comes it, huh? Wait a minute. Wild Rose stopped and ran to the legs of Man Elephant. There is something here. Fushiguro Megumi frowned slightly when he saw the fingers in her hand. This cursed spirit actually has Sukuna's fingers on it? Subconsciously glanced at Itadori behind him. Forget it, leaving treatment is important. Come up first and bring things back. The voice fell off. The birth field began to fade. The whole house began to collapse. Countless broken stones hit them. Moo, there was a long cry. The elephant carried the three people towards the edge of the house. Wait. Not here. Boom. The wall collapsed. The figures of the three appeared on the grass outside. The white curse power on his body began to fade. The two Shikigami gradually dissipated. The outfit of Fushiguro Megumi has returned to the college uniform. The black cloth belt was still tied quietly around his waist. Bang. Briar collapsed to the ground. Haha. I'm so tired, I'm dying. I must rest for a few days when I go back. I'm going to go shopping in the city. Itadori Yuji looked at the fallen Wild Rose with a smile on his lips. Looking down at the severed hand, I might say goodbye to this. This sentence focused the eyes of the other two people on him. I broke a hand. If I team up with you again, it may drag you down. Advertisement, my jujutsu teacher's life should be over here. Speaking of this, the two choices that Gojo Satoru gave him last time came to mind. After he is severed, he may be locked up in a secret execution room. Make a finger-eating tool to recognize it, right? Stop dreaming. Master Jujutsu is not so easy to retire. Whoosh. One thing was thrown over. Someone in Itadori subconsciously caught it with his hand. The Jujutsu Association has a doctor who can reversal surgery. She is a friend of Gojo teacher. Take your severed hand and go to her, and it will be fine. Fu Heihui's voice spilled into his heart like a ray of sunlight. Thank you, Fuhei. However, I still disagree with the notion you have in it. Fushiguro Megumi glanced at him, then ignored him. There is no reason for this warm-blooded single-celled organism. Call. The black barrier in the sky began to fade like a bubble. After hearing the noise, Eiichi Kiyotaka ran over. See the situation of the three. A trace of badness suddenly rose in his heart. A chill hits the sky from the soles of the feet. The special cursed spirit inside has taken shape? The three of them looked at each other speechlessly and nodded. Itadori directly raised his broken hand. Hurry up, it's not safe here anymore. I will call for reinforcements immediately. Let someone ban this place first, and transfer all residents within a radius of 1 kilometer. You go out to college. I am here waiting for Mr. Gojo Satoru. After speaking, he took out his mobile phone and prepared to share with other members. The super cursed spirit has already taken shape, and what happens later is beyond their control. Ha ha ha. The three of them couldn't help laughing when they saw his expression. It's okay, that powerful guy has been removed by Fuhei. I don't dare to delay any more time, I have to go back quickly and connect the broken hand. Eiichi Kiyotaka saw their relaxed look. The nervous mood relaxed a little. Wrong. Fushiguro Megumi already has the ability to eliminate the super cursed spirit? Thinking of this, his eyes suddenly widened, looking at Fushiguro Megumi in surprise. You, don't you, take us back to heal our wounds first. Everything here has to be reported anyway. Yes, I will help you make a simple dressing first. Fushiguro Megumi touched Sukuna's finger. Itadori. Yep. Advertisement. Fushiguro Megumi slammed, and directly put Sukuna's finger in his hand into his mouth. Ba. What are you doing? What are you giving me? It's disgusting. Isn't that? Wild Rose saw what had just happened in her eyes. What needs to be turned in is just stuffed into Itadori. Should you be punished if you go back? Oh, boy, you are on the road? Is there something begging me? Sunuo's voice came from Itadori's face. Please, you think too much. Hey, really? I'm in a good mood now. If you beg me, maybe I will agree? Sukuna's playful voice came out again. Please? I beg you might as well go to the house of everything. Boy, is the jujutsu you use called 10 shadow spells? Hearing this, Fushiguro Megumi frowned. This guy suddenly asked about his jujutsu. It was definitely not that simple. Haha, if you don't answer, I know too, because I already feel the breath of that guy. This is a gift for you. Chi, the sound rang. Itadori Yuji's severed hand grew back magically. Wow, so amazing. Jujutsu turns out to be so amazing. I thought jujutsu could only be used for fighting. Hurry up, Wild Rose also needs time for treatment. Itadori Yuji looked at the Wild Rose and found a bandage on her face. Already lying on the ground to rest. Go, the next day, the house of everything. Gojo Satoru came to Ryuichi's office with a bag of snacks. Where is Fuhesher? Has he gone out to kill recently? Ryuichi took out the potato chips and ate it by himself. No, I'm going to earn family property for his children. Yep. Gojo Satoru frowned slightly, obviously not expecting this to be the case. What's the matter? What's wrong with him? Oh, it's okay, it's just that Wei Wei took a mission yesterday and killed a special cursed spirit. I want to come and say joy to him today. It's okay, I'll leave first. Before the stool was warm, he left the office. His back was reflected in Ryuichi's white eyes. It seems that many people have died recently. Ryuichi picked up the phone and entered the Jujutsu website. The position of Sha Yuja's wanted order has long been replaced by other news. And at this moment, it was written impressively on the most eye-catching position. The death of surgery, an invisible murderer. Close black lens bracket, chapter 368. Advertisement. Jujutsu High School. Kugisaki Nobara's injury has been cured. Squatting on the steps in front of the school. Fuhei, what's the matter with Gojo Satoru teacher? Obviously he is a teacher, why did he push the three of us to the second-year seniors? Wild Rose looked at Fushiguro Megumi on the other side, complaining on her face. Before coming to college, the teacher who listened to the class was Gojo Satoru. That guy with the title of invincibility plus body. It turned out here that this guy didn't have time to teach at all. What is this? He shouldn't have taken an idle job here, teaching here it's a waste of time. Fushiguro Megumi has long been accustomed to this. I followed Gojo Satoru before, either on the mission or on the way to the mission. The so-called rest time is the daily meal and bedtime. Your face still smells so bad. Wei, is it a funeral? Senior Zenin. Don't call me by last name. When Zenin Maki heard the last name, he lifted his head subconsciously and amplified his voice. It expresses rejection of this title. Hello, Wei, there are freshmen in the first grade. Hello. Panda and Inumaki Toge followed from behind and hacked at them. Who are they? Senior Zenin, a physique expert, she is considered a leader in the use of cursed tool, and her physical fitness is comparable to that of Itadori. The one in the high-collared clothes, Senior Goma, is a spellcaster and a very gentle senior. As for that, when Panda heard the introduction of himself, he immediately stepped forward. My name is Panda, I am a curse, and also your senior. He is a curse? Wild Rose stood beside Panda and stroked his fur. Wow, it feels so real. Fushiguro Megumi ignored this childish behavior. We also have a respectable predecessor, Akatsu Jewish, who is currently traveling outside. When Wild Rose heard this, Gojo Satoru's appearance suddenly appeared in her mind. Hello. He shook his head and drove out this strange thought. Hello, senior, this is called Kugisaki Nobara, and he is a third-level jujutsu teacher. Now, the 5 people know each other. Isn't that there are 3 freshmen? What about the other one? Mr. Gojo said he had a poor foundation, and he found another teacher for him. Advertisement. The 3 of them were taken aback, but they didn't care. This time, I mainly want you to participate in the Kyoto College exchange meeting. That fellow Todo Aoi will also come. Hearing the name, A smile appeared on Fushiguro Megumi's face. Last year, this guy could not be beaten lightly. Well, starting today, we will be your temporary teachers. At the same time, in a fast food restaurant in the business district of Tokyo, Luhu looked at the two special cursed spirits beside him. Is this the helper you're looking for? It looks so ordinary. Are you average? They are all special grades, not bad. Heihu Yongren's voice was very soft, as if talking to himself, and did not attract the attention of other people in the store. Superior. It's true. But, are you planning to seal the one named Zenin Ryuichi with us? Luhu doubted the guy in front of him very much. Even now, that terrifying figure still appeared in its heart. It has now become a devil in its heart. With such a few people alone, he definitely wouldn't make a move. Recently, I got 2 good collections. When the time comes, they should be able to contain Zenin Ryuichi. As long as Gojo Satoru is sealed with the prison gate, no one can stop our plan. Call. Guru. This sentence seemed to ignite the heart of Leihu. The small volcano overhead began to emit heat. Really? No, impossible. If you have that kind of thing, why bother to ask us to cooperate? My 2 darlings, but 2 corpses of the strong. Hearing these ambiguous words, Weihu frowned. What kind of corpse can bring you such confidence? Of course, the corpses of the last 6 eyes and 10 shadow spells. Puff. Hearing the words, a small volcano directly erupted. The entire fast food restaurant instantly turned into a sea of flames. Yudo Heihu slapped the surrounding sparks, his face was speechless. Don't be so excited, I finally found a place to sit, this has to be changed again.
Hey, since you have the bodies of these 2 people, why are you?
Leihu looked up and down at Heihu Yongren, the meaning of which was very obvious. Hearing this, Heihu Yongren loosened his shoulders. I can't find these 2 collections without this guy's body.
Since I have such a good thing, or give me the prison gate, and I will take care of Gojo Satoru.
Seeking flowers, oh. This is the same name as Zenin Ryuichi, are you sure you can do it? The corners of Lu Hu's mouth were smiling, and his eyes were filled with disdain. The 2 have the same name, and there must be one person who will win the reputation. This Gojo Satoru, I will take care of it. Advertisement. A village on the outskirts of Tokyo. Surrounded by miasma, the entire land is turned into a swamp. Skulls of various animals are floating on it. It looks like it hasn't been inhabited for many years. Wow. A water ripple appeared on the swamp, and a fish creature was swimming in the swamp.
Cuckoo. Countless bubbles are pouring up. Bang.
The swamp exploded instantly, setting off a huge mud wave.
Bah, unexpectedly, this guy is quite deep. A figure jumped back to the shore from it, staring at the depths of the swamp.
Zero, there seems to be something terrible in it that hasn't come out. Coming. Roar. A cursed spirit that looked like a deep-sea fish rushed out of the swamp.
With both hands down, he went straight to the Wei Yuan.
Seeing this posture, Wei Yuan did not fear at all. A gleam of light flashed in his determined eyes. Good chance. Grip the long knife tightly, push your legs hard. Base. The whole person appeared behind cursed spirit.
Itadori has not been exposed to the knowledge of Jujutsu before, and now his knowledge of Jujutsu is still at the elementary level.
Hello, Wei Yuan. Senior Gojo Satoru. Who is this? This is my student, and it's also your younger brother.
You just need to take him with you when picking up the task and give him an explanation. The members looked at Itadori, who was held in his hands by Gojo Satoru, with questions on their faces.
Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Specifically, how much he can learn depends on his own good fortune. Gojo Satoru smiled and spoke very lightly. Looking at Itadori, who was angry, Uehara couldn't help but think of himself.
Yes, it's you. Put Itadori away and looked at Uehara calmly.
Come here today, I want you to teach him about Jujutsu for me before the exchange meeting between the 2 schools. Hey, you are my teacher, is it really okay to say that in front of me?
When he landed, the cursed spirit turned into fly ash and disappeared here.
Okay, this kid, I'll bring it. 2. Uehara pointed to himself with question marks all over his face. Chapter 369. Advertisement the next day, early morning. Gojo Satoru came to the house of everything with a piece of drawing paper. Ryuichi, have you seen these 2 cursed spirits? Ryuichi looked up and looked at the blank paper in Gojo Satoru's hand. The painting above has the level of a kindergarten champion. However, it is still possible to see that it is Wayu and Luhu. I haven't seen it. Are these 2 new cursed spirits? Yes, there are still 2 special cursed spirits that have not been recorded. It feels so troublesome. Gojo Satoru put away the drawing paper. Going back, I have to record these 2 cursed spirits, which is troublesome to think about. Did you not kill them? Oh, almost. I wanted to play, but the one with flowers on my shoulder used a jujutsu, which temporarily wiped out my fighting will. Let them run away. A few hints of interest flashed in Ryuichi's eyes. There are not many jujutsu who can wipe out Gojo Satoru's fighting will. I thought that Gojo Satoru was just careless in the original work, but it seems that Yu still has some tricks. Gojo Satoru looked at Ryuichi's bright eyes and knew what he was thinking. I couldn't help laughing. Being stared at by this guy is worse than dying in my hands. 23. By the way, it will be the college exchange meeting in a while, do you want to go? Ryuichi looked at Gojo Satoru in surprise. How persistent this fake is. After being rejected so many times, he even came to ask. Don't go. Last year, Akatsuju swept the entire exchange meeting alone. It was quite exciting. Are you sure you won't go this time? If you miss any wonderful moments, you won't be able to catch them. Gojo Satoru gestures with both hands in the air. It seems that I want to play last year's wonderful scenes in this way. Won't it be the same as your next game? It's all unilaterally crushed. Gojo Satoru boiled his chin with his right hand, thinking a little. It's still different. Akatsujuish can use other people's jujutsu. From the perspective of viewing, it is much more exciting than my end. Listening to Gojo Satoru's serious answer, Ryuichi shook his head. Or, how about we make a bet? Gojo Satoru looked at Ryuichi on the opposite side, feeling quite upset. The last incident was just an accident. It's been used to ridicule for so long. Whatever you say this time, you have to rectify your name. Advertisement. Gojo Satoru's serious expression was reflected in Ryuichi's long, narrow eyes. The expression on his face gradually became surprised. What are you going to make a bet? This time we will watch together off the court. If there are problems again, I will. Having said that, there was a pause. I wanted to talk about women's clothing, but I saw Ryuichi's playful expression. I can't help but feel guilty. This guy's perception is comparable to prediction. Is it really appropriate for me to bet with him like this? What about you? The corner of Ryuichi's mouth lifted and his eyes were way. Am I? He knew that there would be a lot of problems in this exchange meeting. It depends on how big a pit Gojo Satoru can dig for himself.
I'll just give you 10 million, how about? After thinking about it, it's still the most practical way to give money.
Even if he loses, it won't cause him any substantial harm. That's it. Gojo Satoru scratched his hair, but there was nothing to deliver. Speaking of cursed tool, Ryuichi has survived more than his entire family. Status? Reputation? Money? Beauty? Snapped. Gojo Satoru clenched his right hand and thumped his left hand. It looks like I understand. How about I introduce you a girlfriend?
That ambiguous expression looks like promoting some kind of indescribable profession.
Roll. The voice is short and powerful. Shocked Gojo Satoru back into the chair. Then tell me, I only have money left. Ryuichi looked at Gojo Satoru's bachelor appearance and shook his head.
If there is an accident this time, don't bother me in the future for this kind of college exchange meeting.
Well, it's a deal. Look at it this way, it's late, I have to go back to work, goodbye. Boom. Gojo Satoru closed the door and ran away in a hurry. At the same time, on a beach, Heiu Yongren lay on a beach chair with sunglasses. Enjoying a nice sunbathing. Hey, Yodo Heiu, don't you guys want to say something to me? I have nothing to say, I have persuaded you, it is you who want to go, what can I do?
Advertisement. After speaking, he picked up the coconut beside him and drank it comfortably.
You guy is so funny, if you don't know who you are, I think you are more like us. Oh, really? I'm just like the guy who was in the same boat as me. Huyong raised his eyes slightly and looked at the beach chair beside him. A cursed spirit with medium-length blue hair and stitch marks on his body was lying on it and flipping a book. It looks very quiet, it seems that everything here has nothing to do with him. Hey, can't you two stop talking coldly? Gojo Satoru is so powerful, how can we seal him? Hearing the question, Heiu Yongren comfortably closed his eyes and felt the sun's rays. Zenin Ryuichi has not found any weakness so far. The prison gate is of little use to him, and can only be restrained by force. Although Gojo Satoru is invincible, it is obviously much simpler to deal with him. At the right time, at the right place, and on the premise that we have established the corresponding advantages, we will seal him up. Speaking of this, there was a trace of heartache in Heiu Yongren's eyes. Two puppets may become a one-off. Hearing this, there was heat on the top of Luhu's head. When to act? If it's too early, I might not have recovered yet. Time, it's October 31st, location, Shibuya. Before that, we still want something. Something that can help us build an advantage, snapped. Cursed spirit next to him closed the book. Hey. You are just a little boy, dare to taunt my uncle? Stretched a big lazy waist, the whole field returned to calm again. Wait for me to recover, I must burn you to death. Ha. Then you can recover, bye. Luhu heard the ridicule inside. No, every step in my plan is the most important step. Boom. The corners of Heiu Yongren's mouth lifted, with sarcasm in his eyes. Moreover, I have a backup plan. Do you just let it go out and play around? What if it dies? The most important part of the plan still needs it to do. A gleam of excitement flashed in the eyes of the two Mandarin ducks. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. His face was full of anger. Except for the first few years of living among humans, it's really boring to stay here all the time. The gate is closed. There is still so much time, then I will go out to play first? Don't worry, I won't be stupid enough to challenge those two guys. Chapter 370 Advertisement and Underground Pipeline somewhere in Tokyo. No one has cleaned it for a long time, and it has become filthy. Squeak. A few mice were inside, not knowing what to eat. Suddenly, one of the mice raised his head and looked around with those scarlet eyes. Squeak. Seems to feel something coming, and flees in one direction with his companions. Chee 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 chee. It seemed that something had been hit, and all the mice turned into fly ash. Woo. I haven't been here for a long time, I can't think that this place has become a world of mice. The visitor is officially a real person, and he relies on his own memory. Back to the sewer of the old life. Hey baby, hey baby. The cry of a baby crying and laughing came from the depths of the pipe. It seemed so terrifying in this dark and filthy sewer. Hearing the sound, the real person smiled softly. There was a trace of remembrance in his eyes. Tadada stepped up and walked towards the source of the sound. With the sound of footsteps leaving, that voice became louder and louder. At this moment, the original sound of unknown meaning was a bit scary. Long time no see. Plowing the sun. The real person turned one by one, and a huge humanoid creature sat at the end of the pipe. The huge body occupies the entire space, and the bloated body matches the baby-like appearance. It looks so weird. This thing saw the arrival of a real person with endless fear in its eyes. But the body still couldn't help but want to crawl towards him. Hey baby. Haha, it seems you like life here very much. I have something to do recently, so I won't be here with you. Here, bring you some friends and let them play with you. Whoosh whoosh. Several strange creatures fell out of the pockets of real people. Running towards the baby, after a while, they bite each other. I wish you all a good time. ... After half a month. Jujutsu High School. Look at the latest news, try to form a team when performing tasks. Don't stay outside alone for too long. Fushiguro Megumi looked at Gojo Satoru with a serious face, frowning. Advertisement: the Jujutsu Division killer is too arrogant recently. Almost every 2 days, he would kill a warlock. The important thing is that no one knows the true identity of this guy. Even Gojo Satoru found no traces on the scene. It can be seen how terrifying this person is. Teacher, has that man's method of murder been found out? There was no trace of the use of curse power at the scene. The autopsy report indicated that these people were killed by one shot. It is inferred from this that the killer should be a master of physique, and his physical fitness is exceptionally strong. Gojo Satoru's voice fell off. Everyone subconsciously focused their eyes on Fushiguro Megumi's body. The body moved to the side twice without asking. Even Fushiguro Megumi himself has a dull face. The domineering figure of Fuiisher could not help but appeared in his mind. What do you guys look at Fushiguro Megumi for? Aren't you doubting him? Briar is still out of condition. She doesn't know the life background of Fushiguro Megumi. I thought these people were suspecting that the Jujutsu Master Killer was him. Can't help but want to complain for him. Bang bang bang. The clapping sound rang. Gojo Satoru brought everyone's realization back. Don't think too much about it, I've already gone to the House of Everything for confirmation. Fushiguro Megumi's father has something to do recently. It is impossible for him to do this. Besides, that guy never fudges his head when he does things. Hearing Gojo Satoru's explanation, everyone was relieved. This situation aroused the curiosity of Briar. Does Fushiguro Megumi still have a strong father? Panda saw Wild Rose's doubts and explained to her in a low voice. Fushiguro Megumi's father is called Fuiisher. Speaking of this, you may not know it, he also has a nickname, Jujutsu Master Killer. As soon as the name came out, the scared Wild Rose was stunned. She used to live in the country, and the news was relatively blocked. She only knew that there was a Jujutsu Division killer. I was once afraid of being found by this guy. Unexpectedly, this ruthless man would be Fushiguro Megumi's father. Now she understood what happened to the other people's expressions just now. Zenin Maki heard Fuiisher's name, and a trace of yearning flashed in her beautiful eyes. Her situation is almost the same as she was back then. But she seemed to be even more miserable, her curse power was scarce, and her physical fitness was not as exaggerated as Tien and Boundary. Everything can only be explored by yourself. Well, besides, I recently discovered 2 special cursed spirits that have not been included in the book. You write down what they look like, and when you meet them later, don't say anything. Run. Advertisement. Everyone frowned when they heard this sentence, and their eyes were full of seriousness. Unexpectedly, during the recent period, there will be so many things. A physique expert who kills Jujutsu Division will not mention it for the time being. 2 new special cursed spirits have appeared. I always feel that the world is changing so fast. Wow. With the unfolding of the Gojo Satoru drawing paper, the expressions on everyone's faces gradually changed from seriousness to wry smiles. Teacher, are you sure that this painting will make us recognize cursed spirit? Looking at the appearance on it like a child's graffiti. Wild Changwei resisted, not letting herself complain. Diaresis, my painting level is still very good. Looking at your expressions, I believe you have written down their faces. Remember, when you meet these two cursed spirits, first ensure your safety and then call me. I have something to do, so I'll leave first, bye-bye. Base. Gojo Satoru disappeared in front of everyone. But everyone did not panic, obviously they were used to this matter. Everyone will try to exercise in school in the future. If it is not necessary, it is best not to leave the college. Zenin Maki said to everyone with a serious face. She has a specialization in individual arts, and she knows the horror of this jujutsu teacher very well. Well, I agree. Fushiguro Megumi agreed first. This kind of physical skill is not something that jujutsu masters like them can resist. Don't talk about Fuyisher, just talk about the guy Todo Aoi. With physical resistance alone, 5 first-level cursed spirits were blown up. After being attacked by this guy, they have no chance of surviving. The others looked at each other and then raised their hands to agree. After all, the exchange will be coming soon, and they don't have much time to hang out. Okay. Now that you all agree, Li Qian is good, then we start training. The next step is to improve the physical fitness of all of you. You two must also follow suit. We too. Panda and Inumaki Toge looked at each other, their faces full of question marks. Isn't it training newcomers? Are we two just passing by? Panda is even more helpless. I am the curse. What kind of physical fitness do I train? Feng. Do you two have an opinion? If you have an opinion, you can just say it. Zenin Maki stood behind them, with a gentle expression, looking like the lady next door. A chill passed from the tailbone to his head, and the whole body shuddered. No comment, we should exercise too. Yes. Even though I am a curse, I also feel there is room for improvement. At this time, on a tree far away from the college, a figure in a red coat was standing on the tree, looking at them in this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, enough, hee. Chapter 371 Advertisement time came tonight. Everyone went back to the dormitory to sleep. Although it has entered summer, the temperature here is still mild. The sound of frogs and insects sounded so quiet, whoosh whoosh. A dark shadow crossed the high school fence, enter the backyard dormitory area. Standing in the center of the courtyard, looking at the surrounding houses. A strange smile gradually appeared on the dull face.
With a kick on both legs, the whole body flipped into the air. There was no movement in the whole process. Tread.
He fell to the ground, facing a room. It said impressively, Fushiguro Megumi. Looking at the room, there was a little scarlet in those tiny eyes. No breath leaked from his body. If you don't see it with your own eyes, it will be difficult to discover the existence of this person only by induction. Is that Fushiguro Megumi? I can't find Fuhesher, it's not bad to start with his kid. Thinking of this, the strange smile on his face gradually disappeared.
Whoosh. The whole person disappeared in place.
Boom. What's wrong? Someone attacked Jujutsu High School? Who is so bold? No, how did this guy get in? No way. I finished talking in the afternoon, and I was targeted in the evening. There is no luck. Everyone was awakened by the roar. A person was found standing in the courtyard. He was about 1.8 meters tall, had bald head and small eyes and dumpling ears, and was dressed in red. It looked so weird. Hee. I didn't expect this kid to solve this problem. Since you are all awake, let's start with you first. Jongtu Juya. Jongtu Home is well known in the Jujutsu world for its strong physique. They have a unique Jujutsu heritage. After each generation of babies are born, they will undergo a physical examination.
If the monitoring value does not meet the standard, it will be subjected to humanitarian destruction. While Zongtu Juya was in his teenage years, he was found to have no feelings for the outside world by nature.
The high-level family members agreed that sooner or later, things would happen if such people were raised in the family.
He will be handled secretly. Unexpectedly, he was the killer in the limelight recently.
Ho, unexpectedly anyone remembers my name? Hearing someone calling his name, he turned his head and looked. Found that it was a beautiful young lady, a weird smile reappeared. Let me guess, you should be from a big family, right? Hearing the other party's confession, Zenin Maki's lips closed tightly, his eyes fixed on the man in front of him. Unexpectedly, the guy who was secretly executed by Jongtu Jujiya in the past can still live. Even though I was saying that, Maki's beautiful eyes turned around. Advertisement. The mind is also working like crazy at the moment. Must find a trace of life at this moment, otherwise everyone will die here. Really, it's all up to the old guys. If they didn't throw me into the trash, I might really not survive. When he said this, Jongtu Juya's lips twitched and his eyelids jumped. I want to try my best to control the face and change a suitable expression. It seems that it has failed. Even if you work hard, feelings can't be pretended. Sure enough, the voice fell off. All the strange expressions on Jongtu Juya's face disappeared. The whole face looked very dull. Since you know everything, then don't pretend. Whoosh! Jongtu Juya disappeared. The next second he appeared in front of Zenin Maki. That casserole fist slammed into her face. Due to the speed, Zenin Maki has no time to react at all. Die. The flat voice came to her ears, but at this time there is no time to react. Quack. A crimson tongue suddenly protruded from the side. Zenin Maki's body disappeared instantly. Let Jongtu Juya's fist burst empty. You couldn't attack me, now you come to FK my classmate again? Have you asked me what I think? Look back. Fushiguro Megumi was found standing behind him, looking at him with a drowsy expression. A toad squatted on the ground beside him. Quack. Can you stop using toads next time you save me? It's disgusting. Toad opened his mouth and Zenin Maki got out of it. There was also a little mucus on her body. Sorry. Although he was sorry, but there was no apology on his face. You, Maki, are you okay? Don't stay there anymore, it's safe here. Upon hearing the sound, Zenin Maki found Inumaki Toge and the three of them standing behind Fushiguro Megumi at the moment. The three of them hugged each other, looking like a father with his children. You guys are really, although speechless, Zenin Maki stood there honestly. Now is not the time to be aggressive, to be a teammate who doesn't make trouble. Always better than a pig teammate who can only succeed. Unexpectedly you will survive. Great. Hearing this, Fushiguro Megumi couldn't help gritting his teeth. Fists clenched on his sides, although on the surface very calm. Advertisement, but he still had some fear in his heart. If it weren't for the jade pendant, he should have been under that blow, and his body and head had been separated. How did you enter the college? Say, Jujutsu College is surrounded by barriers.
Even if someone can forcibly break in, the alarm will be triggered.
This situation is impossible, unless there is a ghost in the college.
Are you trying to procrastinate? Zongtu Juya looked at the few people gathered together, and guessed in his heart.
Hearing this, Fushiguro Megumi touched his belt with his right hand. Whoosh, Jongtu Juya's figure disappeared again. Boom boom boom. There is no movement around. But the barrier in the jade pendant has already been opened. The originally calm shield was rippled at this moment.
Fushiguro Megumi looked at all this in surprise. This speed has surpassed the super cursed spirit encountered before. No wonder killing so many jujutsu masters without being arrested.
But, I am different from those waste wood. Thinking of this, Fushiguro Megumi started to gather his own power. The black cloth on the waist was white again. With this trend, he wrapped his whole person. The pajamas on her body started to change from top to bottom at this moment. Wow. Is this what Xiao Changwei said? So handsome, I want to add one too. Salmon, I didn't expect my schoolboy to be so good, we have to work hard too. Panda and Inumaki Toge saw this cool transformation, their eyes sparkled with excitement.
This kind of cool transforming special effect, which boy would not love it?
Boom. God knows if there is such a perversion among those abandoned by these families. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Maki frowned slightly. It's me now. It can greatly increase the user's spell power. This is completely beyond the concept of cursed tool.
When Okatsu Ju's left, the stick that Gojo Satoru gave him seemed to be that guy's masterpiece. It can even strengthen their jujutsu. Zenin Maki stared at the black cloth around his waist.
Just about to land, there was a voice in my ear. So is the Middle-earth home. Unexpectedly, besides hiding in a shell like a turtle, you can transform? The top of the Zenin family is really just a bunch of idiots. The ability of this cursed tool has surpassed her understanding of cursed tool. Dress up is complete. Zenin Ryuichi. The resulting air blows Jongtu Ya to the wall. Chapter 372 Advertisement Boom. Jongtu Juya is about to land. Hear the sound coming from my ear, not yet reflected. He was lifted into the air by 1 foot, good chance. Fushiguro Megumi's eyes condensed, his hands were imprinted, a loud shout. I don't know the bottom of the well, bang bang bang. Many frogs with wings appeared around, quack. 4 Gojo's red tongue stuck out into the air. Bind up the limbs of Juya in the earth. Slammed to the ground. Boom. The ground was instantly smashed into a big hole. It's not over yet, full of elephants, roar. The accompanying huge roar. A white elephant fell straight into the pit from the sky. Boom. Smoke billowed from the ground. Fushiguro Megumi's pupils flickered. Did not hesitate. Cancel jujutsu. They flashed towards the Wild Rose. Is that person dead? Wild Rose and Fushiguro Megumi stand side by side. Looking at the smoke ahead, his brows frowned. No, that guy broke free from the frog's imprisonment when the elephant appeared. Hearing this, Wild Rose's beautiful eyes filled with unprecedented solemnity. The other party moved too quickly, and they couldn't make a decision at all. Going on like this is too passive. When you were fighting him, grab something from him. Fushiguro Megumi looked at her with firm eyes, nodded seriously. Then he looked around for the trail of that guy. No, you can't find it like this. Turning his eyes, he thought of a way. The hands were sealed again, and the white light on his body filled the courtyard instantly. Take off the rabbit. With a loud shout, white rabbits are everywhere where the white light goes. In an instant, the entire yard was covered by white rabbits. At this moment, Fushiguro Megumi closed his eyes. Use the magic power to perceive the traces of Zhangtu Juya. This trick was originally used to distract the enemy by summoning a large number of rabbits, so as to allow yourself to escape, but now with the blessing of the belt, I am not afraid of the curse power consumption at all. Now use them to fill the yard. This way he can base on the connection between man and Shikigami. Unless Zhangtu Juya flies into sky, it will definitely step on these rabbits. Advertisement jump, bounce, bounce, found it. Fushiguro Megumi was overjoyed, but then he frowned. Seeing his ugly expression, Wild Rose asked, "What's the matter? Has that person gone?" From their point of view, apart from the densely packed rabbits, no enemy was visible at all. Even the rabbits did not become running around because of trampling. The whole looks like I am scaring myself. That person is too fast, there are 4 or 5 places to stay at the same time, and there is no way to attack him. Fushiguro Megumi clenched his teeth and met such a tricky enemy for the first time. I can't help thinking, what would my father do here? Or, Zenin Ryuichi is here, what will he do? Stop. At this time, a voice came from behind him. Inumaki Toge pulled down the collar at this moment, and those strange spells appeared again. The sound spreads around like a sea wave. Wherever they went, all creatures stopped their actions. It seems to have been cast into a fixation technique. It's right there. Fushiguro Megumi did not waste time, kicking his legs. The white light envelops him, the whole person's hair floated. It looks like a Super Saiyan, but no one paid attention to his appearance at this time. Bang! Arriving in front of Zhangtu Juya, an uppercut punched him away again. Zhangtu Juya was in the air, his body trembling slightly. In a short period of time, he was about to break free from the shackles of the curse. Fushiguro Megumi saw all this in his eyes. There was worry in his eyes. Summoning Manchiong will definitely be avoided by the opponent, and other Shikigami is of no use at this moment. I can only do it hard. As soon as he exerted his legs, Fushiguro Megumi's figure appeared next to Nikado Juya. Boom! There was a punch to his face. The rabbits on the ground immediately dispersed to make room for him. Base. Just when he was about to land, Juya's figure disappeared. You were already pretty good to hurt me. A flat voice appeared beside Fushiguro Megumi. Boom. There was a loud noise. Fushiguro Megumi flew among the 3 like a ball. How? Are you okay? Way, or else, run away, puff. Inumaki Toge wanted to talk, but his mouth was sweet and a mouthful of blood came out. The spell on his lips also slowly disappeared. Fearing that the surrounding companions were worried, they immediately gestured to everyone with a thumbs up. ZZZ, advertisement. The protective cover began to make a noise. It seems that the stored spell power is almost exhausted. Seeking flowers. Give. Fushiguro Megumi stretched out his palm, and there was a piece of bright red cloth lying inside. This is the result of his fight just now. Wild Rose saw the cloth strip, fighting spirit rose in her beautiful eyes. Haha, let him see how good my Kugisaki Nobara is. Put the cloth strip in your hand in the scarecrow. Whoosh whoosh. The hammer drew a circle in her hand. 4 nails appeared on the other hand. Xing Ling spell resonance. The sound sounded, and the water blue curse power wrapped the nails. Go straight to the scarecrow. Bang! The scarecrow was nailed to the ground instantly. Seeing this, several people immediately raised their heads and looked forward. Really, Zhangtu Juya's figure slowed down, already can be captured by the line of sight. The strength of the 2 of them is too different, although they did not cause fatal injuries. But it greatly reduced his moving speed. Good opportunity. Panda, you are here to take care of the dog roll, and Wei and I will go up and kill him. Zenin Maki took out his spear. The cold tip of the gun reflected a terrifying cold light. The whole Qiangshen trembled slightly, as if feeling the anger in the owner's heart. Wei, come on. Push your legs on the ground. The 2 of them flew toward Zhangtu Juya from left to right. Zenin Maki's silver teeth clenched, his eyes bursting with unprecedented anger. This guy. Unforgivable. In the blink of an eye, the 2 attacked in front of him. Die. You made a mistake. My speed is more than that. At the moment when the 2 attacked and were about to touch their bodies, Juya Zhangtu's figure disappeared again. However, this time it only flashed a distance of 10 meters. It seems that the limit of Wild Rose is still somewhat useful. I didn't expect you guys to be pretty good, but I don't want to waste time. When you see Zenin Shire in the future, remember to tell him that Juya Zhangtu has officially challenged him. There can only be one Jujutsu Master Killer, and that's me. Obviously very passionate lines, but with this sluggish expression. How funny it looks. Fushiguro Megumi's eyes were filled with anger, but there was nothing to do about it. This guy is too fast, they have no way to cause substantial harm to him. I can only watch him leave like this. At this moment, a white-haired man with a blindfold appeared on the wall. Jian in his hand, laughed softly. Boundless spaces, soil. Chapter 373 Advertisement Call. A huge sphere envelops the 2 of them. After seeing this situation, several people instantly relaxed. Call. Fushiguro Megumi's white curse faded away, and his hair fell. The whole person returned to his usual state. Wait, where did you buy this thing? It looks amazing. Panda is still eager for this piece of equipment and wants to know where it comes from. Maybe the person who made this thing can also install a set for it? Zenin Ryuichi. Forget it, don't let it go. As soon as the name said, Panda waved his hand again and again. Needless to say, the previous defensive cover was also the work of that man. No wonder it's so powerful. Senior Doggerel, are you okay? Already drank the medicine, it's okay. Although he can speak normally, Inumaki Toge still maintains his previous habits. Take special throat medicine with you. 583 can quickly repair the mucous membrane of the throat. Haven't waited for the beginning of Fushiguro Megumi. Kugisaki Nobara gave him a thumbs up. There was a happy smile on his face. The expression on Fushiguro Megumi's face loosened, and his eyes became gentle at this moment. Look at these friends. He didn't think about what his father and Zenin Ryuichi would do. He only knew that he had a group of reliable partners around him, and that would be fine. Call. The field disappeared. Gojo Satoru appeared in front of everyone. The man in red has fallen to the ground at this moment. The head is still rolling beside Gojo Satoru, but he didn't seem to see this situation, and walked towards everyone.
You guys played well today. Not to mention it's okay, it's like igniting a barrel of explosives.
Both Yi Changwei and Zenin Maki started to output frantically at him, left and right. Okay, I know it's wrong. The previous imposing Gojo Satoru has disappeared, replaced by an irresponsible teacher.
Watching the two girls slowly calm down, he turned his attention to Fushiguro Megumi. Wei, you performed very well this time. Both the use of Jujutsu and the analysis of the situation have reached the standard of the second-level Jujutsu division.
After this exchange meeting, I will recommend you to test. You should know the importance of teamwork this time. No matter how strong a person is, he is always just one person. As long as you attack his characteristics, sooner or later there will be trouble. Advertisement. The corner of Gojo Satoru's mouth lifted, his voice high. Looking at the dull-looking student in front of him. I couldn't help but give myself a thumbs up. I really have the potential to be a good teacher. And Wild Rose looked at the smiling teacher. I couldn't help but vomit. What kind of face does this guy say such things? This was originally a very good chicken soup, but I just told it from Gojo Satoru. There is always a hint of irony. Fushiguro Megumi was even more speechless, with a dull expression and a slightly open mouth. Because in his cognition, there are 3 people who can break this bowl of chicken soup. One is his daddy, Fuhesher, with terrifying physical quality, and he can easily kill 4 special cursed spirits. There is also the Gojo teacher in front of him. Jujutsu is almost invincible.
There is also Zenin Ryuichi. This guy is almost out of the category of Jujutsu teacher.
After 10 years of retreat, his appearance remained unchanged. That guy is just going to cultivate immortals, and they are not at the same level as the Jujutsu masters. Okay, it should be all right now. You guys have a good rest. I will take this guy's corpse.
Bye. Now, that head just rolled under his feet.
Gojo Satoru held him in his hands. Hold the body in the other hand. A flash disappeared in the courtyard. Well, the matter is over, we should rest too. Yes, good night, too sleepy. Sleeping too late will make your throat bad. Everyone rest early, good night. Although I don't feel sleepy, I should rest and bye-bye according to biological habits. After speaking, the 4 guys walked towards their room. Stay alone. Fushiguro Megumi looked at the collapsed room.
10,000 alpacas galloped in his heart. Where shall I sleep tonight? 3 hours later, the sky was clear. Gojo Satoru brought things to the morgue.
Hiss, who, in the room, smoke floated. A woman in a white coat is sitting at the planing table. The messy hair, the faint dark circles under the eyes, and the sluggish mental turntable all tell her that she is tired now. Hold the cigarette between your fingers and take 2 puffs from time to time.
It seems that this will bring her a little spirit.
You guy, can't you kill more cursed spirit and fewer Jujutsu teachers? Every time I have to be called by you to pick up the corpse, I'm also very tired, okay? Hearing this complaint, Gojo Satoru seemed to be used to it.
Shoko, don't be like this. Today this one is a ruthless character.
Advertisement. Boom. Throw the corpse in his hand directly on the understanding plane. A guy in the sky and the bondage. I believe you should be interested in his body. Oh, heaven and bondage? Hiss, huh? Saw something of interest? Shoko smoked all the remaining cigarettes in one bite. The whole person also becomes energetic. Take off his clothes, and his strong muscles are now exposed to the air. Shoko touched the corpse with one finger and looked around it. The physical fitness is good. If it weren't for this head, I would have thought you killed Fuhesher. Haha, that guy is covered by Ryuichi. I don't dare to kill him. How about this corpse? Shouldn't it be able to offset today's grievances? Shoko finished observing and took out a pair of gloves from the tray on the side. Put the mask in your pocket on your face. The silver scalpel was only under the white light, reflecting the oozing light. Just looking at it this way, you know the sharpness of the knife. What kind of heaven and bondage is this guy? Wow. Puff. Geji. Although she was asking, The work in her hands did not stop. He opened his mouth and took out the organs in his body for observation. Begin to record various data of these organs. Although there will be a gap between when they were alive, but as long as the number is large enough. Ha ha ha, isn't it? I always say that. For example, when I first saw you today, your expression was scary enough. At that moment, it should have set off the spatial effect and directly achieved the effect of teleportation. But it looks like it should consume curse power very much. This is Ieri Shoko. God took back his emotions and gave him unparalleled speed. In the last flash of Jujutsu, even his 6 eyes couldn't catch the trajectory of his movement. Gojo Satoru recalled the scene of their battle in his mind. Haha, otherwise, they will not be ready to escape after running out. Looking at the busy Shoko, Gojo Satoru smiled again. There are not many things that can make you say horrible. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Shoko began to record the previously obtained data in the archive. This is out of the scope of speed. Yes, speed, a terrifying speed. Oh, speed? This gap will be infinitely close to zero? Chapter 374 Advertisement. In this way, 2 hours passed. The sun has risen, and the temperature on the street has gradually risen. Click, hiss, whoo, the autopsy is almost done, and the records that should be recorded are also recorded. Are you okay? It's okay. Remember to report this to those guys, just to say that the murderer who killed Jujutsu Master has been executed recently. When Shoko heard the words, her eyebrows twitched twice. You fellow, can't you tell them yourself? You have to let me waste time on the trip, are you sick? Gojo Satoru is also at that level now, so it's not enough to raise your mouth during a meeting. I have to let myself, a doctor with a bad mental state, do the report. Isn't this bullying the honest person? Haha, every time I look for them, I'm a mess. I'm afraid I can't help but kill them all. The voice is very soft, it sounds like a joke. But Shoko understood that what Gojo Satoru said was true. It seems that those old guys bullied Gojo Satoru too hard. Well then, Tianjing is these time-wasting reports every day, so annoying. 23. Let's go, presumably you don't want to stay with the corpse all the time? After speaking, the two left the room, after a long time. A phantom like a slug entered the room through the wall. Looking at the corpse lying on the planing table, I couldn't help but froze for a few seconds. Then he ran towards the file folder, find today's record and start copying. In less than half a minute, all the information was copied. Afterwards, Shu Ying wrapped the corpse. From a distance, it looked like a silkworm chrysalis preparing to transform into a cocoon. After half an hour, Shu Ying got up and wrapped the excavated internal organs. The proficiency of the movements is obviously not the first time to do so. After finishing everything, the phantom penetrated the wall again and disappeared into the room. At the other end of Tokyo. I pray that my mother-in-law is chanting a mantra with her eyes closed in a house. Suddenly, a phantom appeared on the wall. After entering the room, he circled the begging mother and entered the jar in front of her. Snapped. The lid is closed. The chanting sound disappeared, begging her to open her eyes. There was a hint of excitement in those turbid eyes. But there is no hurry. Wow, advertisement white light flashed. I pray that there will be an extra scratch in her hand. The dark red blood flowed into the jar along the palm of his hand. Bump. The jar began to shake wildly. She seems to like her blood very much. All right. There are only so many today. When the voice fell, the jar stopped moving. A series of messages appeared in the mind of the begging mother. After receiving the information, Shichima's eyes were full of surprise. Unexpectedly, this guy is still alive and the murderer of those recent murders. However, it is not a pity. Although you are dead, your body and will be passed on to us. Gia. With the physical data of your fellow, as long as the few people are not heated, where is the world so big? As long as the October plan is completed, then the Cursed Division will once again form a three-legged situation with Jujutsu Division and Cursed Spirit. At that time, it will not be like a mouse and can only hide in the sewer. The bright future seems to be beckoning to her. Grandson, take a good workout and increase willpower. We found a ruthless guy this time. Another half-month passed. With the arrival of summer, the number of pedestrians on the road gradually decreases. They are more willing to hide in their homes or work in the air conditioner than to go shopping outside and soak up the sun. Senior, what are we investigating this time? There was a supernatural incident in the movie theater here. We need to come over and investigate the situation. Itadori has been studying with Wei Yuan for a while. There is a preliminary understanding of the ecology of the Jujutsu community. For example, the two invincibles recognized by the entire Jujutsu community. Gojo Satoru and Zenin Ryuichi. Itadori was surprised when he heard the news. Because he has seen even a person. One is his own teacher, so I won't talk about that. I thought he was irresponsible before, but now I know that people like Gojo Satoru shouldn't have become a college teacher. This is just a waste of his ability. And that Zenin Ryuichi, I haven't seen it since I was in school. The impression of him is only on those moon-white eyes. It looks obviously younger than me. I didn't expect it to be so powerful. Arrive. The two came to the door of the movie room. These were cordoned off, but there was no one around. Where are those people? Window has greeted them well, we just need to worry about investigating the situation here. The two crossed the cordon and looked at the situation inside. Advertisement, can you see it? There are some curse-powered residuals here. Hearing the question, Itadori closed his eyes and calmed down. In this period of time, Itadori has learned many ways to use mantra power. He also knows something about residuals. I see, there is a set of footprints here. Itadori pointed to the seat in front of him, followed by the side door. Looking back at Ryōmen, he asked if what he said was correct. Yes, that's it. Now we follow the traces and follow his escape trajectory. The two followed their footprints and walked all the way to the top of the theater. At this moment, it was raining moderately in the sky. The two held their umbrellas and moved on. Hiss. A green humanoid monster with exposed teeth appeared in front of them. Poop. Bento. Itadori took the attacking position without saying a word. Call. A long stick stood in front of him. I'll do this, you go and pack the other one.
If you don't think it's easy to fight, move towards me.
Itadori didn't have any dissatisfaction on his face, and had been with this senior for a long time recently. I found that he was very gentle, and he would consider everything for others. Good senior, but I don't think I need it. The corners of Huihara's mouth curled up, but he didn't speak. Attacked towards the green monster. Poop. Bento.
Bang. The stick slashed vertically, smashing the monster directly to the ground.
Seeing this, Huihara frowned, anxiously glanced at Itadori in the distance. Base. Bento. Bento. The monster jumped up instantly and rushed towards Ryōmen again. Only this time when Huihara swung his club, the monster blocked it with two claws. But the remaining power still bounced it out. The monster didn't hesitate. The moment it fell to the ground, its legs slammed on the ground.
Strikes again. Bang. The other end of the stick was caught by the monster.
There was a mocking smile on its face at this moment.
Those two toad-like eyes dripped and circulated, showing the excitement at the moment. Huihara smiled slightly. Thank you for your help, stiff.
Chapter 375 Advertisement. The voice fell off. The dark curse followed the stick to the monster's body.
The huge magic power instantly envelops it. The monster stood in a straight line. Those two protruding eyes were huge at the moment. As if it will jump to the ground in the next second.
Bento. I kept twitching, but I couldn't do anything. Tears started to flow in his eyes. Seeing this, the smile on Ryōmen's face gradually disappeared. Is it painful? I'll help you out. The stick was in his hand and his arms pressed hard. What? With a loud shout. The weapon swung horizontally, and the speed was so fast that it made a sound of breaking through the air. Under a stick. The monster's head exploded directly like a watermelon. The contents of his head exploded into the air. The red and white impurities fall to the ground and follow the rain to the ground. Although he was victorious, there was no trace of joy in Ryōmen's heart at this moment.
Damn it, who is it, to do such a cruel and inhuman thing? Single quote. Hume. At this time, Itadori had a small mistake over there.
Was thrown directly onto the baseball speedometer by the white monster. Zung was curled up on the ground at this moment. Ah, it hurts, it hurts. Do you need help? Although it didn't take long to get along, Huihara also knew the character of this schoolboy. If you don't ask, go directly up and attack. It is bound to cause unhappiness between the two. Not for the time being. This guy can just be my opponent for training.
The white monster rushed directly behind him. The fist carrier in the right hand rushed towards him with strong vigor.
Washing machine. The strong sense of crisis made Itadori turn around in an instant. A shield with both arms blocked the blow, but the whole body was still knocked into the air. Itadori stood up, put his hands on his waist, and his whole body was like a horse. There is no God in the eyes. At this moment, his experience was all attracted by the curse power in his body.
Immediately, the bluish curse power emerged from his hands.
It looks like a burning flame. Gojo Satoru's words came to his ears. Your mantra power will be delayed. Simply put, your fist will hit the enemy first, and then the mantra power will hit it. In other words, there will be two injuries in one attack. Advertisement snapped. Itadori stepped back on one leg. The whole body twisted backward. Washing machine, laundry. Regardless of his actions, the monster only knows that this person is the target of his attack. Then desperately rushed to him again. Good chance. Itadori saw the monster's course of action and found a neutral position. The whole body whirled. Wing Ting fist. Bang. He punched the monster. A bulge appeared on its back. But, it's not over yet. Bang. There was another loud noise. That bulge was instantly destroyed. The faint blue curse came out of the hole. Please, the black blood gushing backwards. The monster responded to the end, lying on the ground and rolling around. Itadori, you can use Erding Fist so soon, it seems you are very talented. Huihara looked at the curse power in Itadori's hand. An elder smile appeared on his face. Haha, I didn't have it before, but I just felt this way suddenly, so I used it easily. Unexpectedly, it succeeded. Call. the curse power of both hands disappeared, and Itadori scratched his head subconsciously. How to deal with this monster? Also, do you want to kill too? Although this is a monster, but for him, Jujutsu Master who was a monk, it is also a life. If Fushiguro Megumi is here, he will definitely not hesitate. However, even now, I still cannot accept that attitude. Huihara saw the sad look on Itadori's face. He knew what he thought in his heart. Give this monster to the association, and let them define the level of harm of this incident. We'll just wait for Ijichi to arrive now, yep. At the same time, Gojo Satoru whistled and walked into the house of everything. I wanted to say hello to Nanami Kento, but seeing his busy back, he walked directly to Ryuichi's office. Ryuichi, look at the employees who are squeezed by you. I'm obviously less than 30 years old, and now I look like a middle-aged person in his 50s or 60s. Advertisement, don't you think your boss has a great responsibility? For Gojo Satoru's nonsense, Ryuichi uniformly ignored it. The murderer was caught. Haha, yeah, thanks to my few students, if it weren't for them, I might still be looking for a while. Gojo Satoru shows complacency between the lines. After all, this incident also shows that his educational ability is very good. After all, he didn't have any clues before, only the elimination method can be used. Meet the curse teachers one by one. That half-month was simply a nightmare for Master Curse. For fear of being shot on the window by Gojo Satoru in the middle of the night. It's good now, and finally it doesn't have to be so troublesome. Haha, those kids really exceeded my expectations. Diaresis after the exchange meeting with other colleges and universities, I recommend them to take the upgrade test. By the way, for the kid Maki, you will still need your help then. Yep. A hint of playfulness appeared at the corner of Ryuichi's mouth. Gojo Satoru felt helpless when he saw his expression. Every time Zenin Maki tests, the Zenin family will make trouble, so that although they have the strength of a second-level Jujutsu teacher, they are still a fourth-level Jujutsu teacher. But, does this have nothing to do with me? Ryuichi knows all these things. But what about this? Instead of worrying about the useless Jujutsu master level, it is better to think about how to improve yourself. Cut, it's still so ruthless. I thought you would feel relieved by hearing this story. Gojo Satoru rolled his eyes, although he knew it might be the result. But he still couldn't help but want to try it. After all, once this guy spoke, the Zenin family wouldn't continue to make things difficult. But now it seems that there is no hope. By the way, at the college exchange meeting, Todo Aoi from Kyoto will also come. Isn't that guy from Fuhesher not going to see it? Li Qianhao. When I heard this, I knew what Gojo Satoru really thought. He just wanted that guy Shi-er to watch his apprentice fail with his own eyes. What a shame. That guy hasn't come back yet. It's estimated that it will take more than 2 months. You guy won't awaken some kind of predictive jujutsu, right? Every time the hunch is too accurate, Fuhishir challenges the trial path of the Zenin family. Can you guess when he will return? Once the road of trial is opened, it will be endless. Until there is only one race left in the space, it can be opened again. This time is generally 1 to 2 years, and they all ended with human death. Unexpectedly, Zenin Ryuichi would say this time in such a sure tone. This is very worth thinking about. Suddenly, it seemed as if I felt something in my heart. Ryuichi turned his gaze to the window and looked at the blue sky outside. A smile appeared on the main line on his face. Here's another amazing guy. Chapter 376 Advertisement at the same time, in the square of Kyoto. A tall and attractive beauty wandered in the square. From time to time, he stirred his hair with his narrow fingers. As her fingers swayed, her upper body shook slightly. The scenery is alluring for a time, and the scenery of large areas is undisturbed. But the strange thing is that no one stopped around for this. It's still the human world, so many interesting things, and there are so many fresh and delicious ingredients. The voice is deep and full of magnetism, which makes people's heart beating. Suddenly, riots broke out ahead. A gleam of light flashed in her human Dangfeng eyes, and her tongue licked her lips subconsciously. Stepping away from those long legs, he walked towards the riot. As the steps moved, the 2 long legs were looming in the skirt. After a short while, he came to both sides. You stepped on me. You would have to say I'm sorry. You still want to hit me without apologizing? What happened to you? Do you know who I am? Do you dare to touch my porcelain? I still touch porcelain? There is surveillance here. Walk around. Follow me to check the surveillance. Leave and leave. Who is afraid of who? If you touch porcelain, we will never end this matter. With that, the 2 people were ready to rush to the monitoring room. The people around did not see the excitement, so they were ready to turn around and leave. The beauty frowned when she saw the situation. So easy to leave? Then, a red light flashed in her eyes. The 2 people who had been on the way fought together at the same time. A thick wall of people was immediately surrounded. A thin scarlet and grayish line descended from the sky, connected to the 2 fighting. As time passed, the thin lines were filled with dark red energy. Tisk tusk tusk. The quality is poor and low. I can't imagine that now, human beings can't even fight. Let me teach you. The beauty's beautiful eyes opened in anger, and the scarlet curse power was centered on her, instantly dissipating. In an instant, it spread to every corner. Boom. Bang. What are you doing in TM? Are you a fool? Do you want to die? Don't come here. In an instant, the entire square was in chaos. The sound of beating and screaming is overwhelming. A thin line appeared above everyone's head, and the entire sky was dyed red by these energy for a while. Advertisement. That's right. Although I haven't passed the pass, I finally look a little bit better. The red light flickered in the beauty's eyes, as if she was very satisfied with the situation in front of her. Suddenly, the chill came, and the whole body seemed to have fallen into the ice cellar. Who is it? The chill is very real. It felt as if there was a pair of eyes behind her jokingly watching everything she did. There is no emotion, just looking at it purely like this. This situation has never happened since she was born. Is it some powerful cursed spirit? I thought to myself, but then shook his head. There is no difference between this behavior and provocation.
This kind of peeping will not occur between the super-class cursed spirits that you don't know.
Is it human? This is also not right, if it is a strong individual. Seeing what she did, she would definitely not be so peaceful. It will even kill it directly. Just when she was thinking about it, the chill instantly disappeared. This didn't make her feel comfortable, but it made her guess more real. In this world, there is a strong man that she can't afford to have noticed her.
Hey, TMD is so annoying. I just came out and couldn't let me stay for a few more days.
After speaking, he looked back at the chaotic square. There was a trace of unwillingness in the beautiful eyes. But he didn't wait much, he turned around and disappeared in place. Ah, someone is fighting here. Call the police.
After she left, people began to wake up slowly and saw the chaotic situation before them.
The eyes are full of horror. Where am I? How come I have a stick in my hand? Blood. Blood. I am full of blood. Help me. Ah, my leg is broken. Whoever hit it, call an ambulance. Suddenly, there were screams in the square one after another. It echoes the previous screams. Not long after, police cars and ambulances came one after another. Seeing the situation in front of him, he couldn't help but take a breath. No one called the police before such a serious group fight. Isn't there a normal person here? Although my heart is full of doubts, the most important thing now is to send everyone to the hospital first. Just when they were busy, a black business car appeared by the square. Wow. The car door opened and 3 men in black came down.
Hi, this is advertisement. I saw a scarlet in front of them. This was just a remnant of curse power.
I can't imagine how powerful the cursed spirit was at that time. This matter is no longer what we can be responsible for. You, hurry up and report it.
You, come with me to communicate with those people, and leave this to us to manage.
After speaking, the 3 moved separately. It only took 3 hours to send all the wounded to an ambulance.
The moon gradually appeared in the sky. The whole square finally calmed down.
3 men in black stood outside the cordon, as if no strangers would enter. This appearance has blocked many curious people. Not long after, Gojo Satoru's figure appeared in front of the 3. I wanted to yell at him, but I saw someone coming.
They shut up one after another. Gojo Satoru took off the blindfold, and his blue eyes were so eye-catching in the night.
Looking at the curse power remaining in the air, Gojo Satoru frowned. This cursed spirit is not easy. Now I think back to Zenin Ryuichi's last smile. Everything makes sense. Unexpectedly, being so far apart, I could feel the existence of this cursed spirit. How strong is he now? Well, I already know about it here. You guys are guarding here. Wait a week before letting someone clean it. After the explanation, Gojo Satoru disappeared instantly. Prepare to follow the spell and see if you can catch that guy. The next day, Kanagawa, Yoshino Junpei dragged his injured body and walked on the street. Passers-by frowned when they saw his appearance and fled. But he was not uncomfortable. Obviously, he has long been accustomed to such things. Rather than caring about their feelings, it is better to find a place for simple treatment. So as not to be found by mother when returning home. Oh, Junpei, are you going to go home like this? A familiar voice came from the side of the road. Looking back, I found a man full of stitched wounds standing on the side of the road. Greeting him with a smile. Real people? In the dull eyes of Junpei and Yoshino, a little look gradually emerged. After hearing his name, the smile on the face of the real person was even better. With a grin, he walked towards Yoshino Junpei. The bruise on your body needs at least a few days to cultivate, but going back like this will make your family worried. Do you need my help? Chapter 377 Advertisement? The next day, everything was in the house. Gojo Satoru walked into Ryuichi's office with suspicion. What about Nanami? Why didn't I see him today? It's a holiday, and nothing has happened recently, let him relax. Will you be so kind? As we all know, there are no holidays in the house of everything. Whether it is Christmas or New Year's Day, unity continues to work. He was very convinced of this. Now there will be a holiday? Don't think of me as an unscrupulous boss. I think Nanami's complexion is not very good recently, so let him take a break. In this way, the future work can be better completed. Hearing that, Gojo Satoru's face a few black lines appeared. Sure enough, he shouldn't have a fluke. Some time ago, there was a huge riot in Kyoto. I suspect it was done by a super cursed spirit. Speaking of this, Gojo Satoru paid attention to Ryuichi's expression. Want to see something on his face? Didn't you perceive its existence at the time? Does this matter? When you perceive it, you can tell me directly so that there will be no such large casualties. When Ryuichi heard the words, a hint of surprise flashed in those bright eyes. Sorrow, it looks like you have really changed. If you put it in the past, you might only care about how I knew the situation there, instead of asking why I didn't scan you. Gojo Satoru was silent when he heard the words. Over the past few years, his personality has indeed been smoothed a lot. Although in the eyes of outsiders, he has always been so arbitrary. It's even a bit unreliable, but those who really know him will find that Gojo Satoru now cares about the feelings of others. Of course, this includes only ordinary people and jujutsu teachers he identifies with. This is more and more like Shayuja once. Has it changed? Maybe. Sometimes, it's good to give yourself a bondage. Speaking of this, the scene of breaking up with Shayuja could not help appearing in his mind. I have been taking action for what I said, Shayuja. However, I am also grateful that you did not act. Thinking of this, Gojo Satoru couldn't help but raised his head and turned his face to the roof. At this time, he knew the usefulness of this action. When the brain is in confusion, this action will relax him. Do not know why. He was actually happy with what he had done over the years. Especially after seeing the new generation of jujutsu teachers grow up. He was full of expectations for the future of the jujutsu world. Changes will definitely happen to them in the future. Forget it, don't say it if you don't say it. Although it sounds like a complaint, there is a smile on his face. It seems that I have found the same feeling again. Advertisement, this guy is very strong, are you not interested in a fight with him? Gojo Satoru has frivolous eyebrows, and wants to ask about the location of Cursed Spirit in this way. It's still in Kyoto, but to remind you, the distance exchange meeting has been every few months. Are you sure you don't want to visit your students? Oh, my students are amazing. Even if I'm not here, I believe they will train hard and prepare actively. I have something to do now, so I'll go now, bye-bye. Base. The whole person disappeared in the office. Ryuichi looked at the documents flying in the air, a trace of helplessness in her bright eyes. Recently Nanami Kento has a holiday, the hygiene here. Let's wait until he comes back to clean up. At the same time, Itadori is sitting in Eijichi's car. The two are following a student not far in front of the car. Is this the man in the cinema? Itadori pointed to Yoshino Junpei ahead. How do you think this person is an ordinary student? It is difficult to associate him with the monsters in the cinema. Yes, in a moment, find a place where no one is, and release the teenie to attack him. If he doesn't see teenie, then you save him without asking him anything. But if he can see the teenie but can't fight back, please rush to rescue him and then ask about the situation in the cinema. Or he fights back with the spell, then please subdue him immediately. But, if he has the strength of a second-level Jujutsu division or higher, then you should hurry up and run. Hearing these instructions, Itadori stared at the back of the man in front of him. Okay, I understand. At the same time, in the sewer pipe. Many weird creatures have fallen around Weiyuan. Come out, this kind of thing won't hurt me. Yeah, if Gojo Satoru or Zenin Ryuichi came, I might have to run away. If the people who come are too weak, I can't do experiments. You came just right. Huihara held a stick in both hands and placed it in front of him, arching his body in a defensive manner. The curse power on your fellow is really disgusting, just looking at you like this makes me feel physically uncomfortable. Seeking flowers, so, you should die quickly. Bang. Push your legs hard. The whole person is like an arrow from the string. Charge towards the other side. The stick maintained its forward stab position. Although there was no gunhead, the shot continued, and he was not dead and seriously injured. Advertisement: the speed is too fast for real people to dodge. Keep your hands in front of you. Boom, although the stick hit the target. But it did not harm it. Wei Yuan failed with a single blow and immediately backflipped. Keep away from real people. It seems that your attack is not very effective. A joking voice came from the front. It turned out that at the moment of blocking the attack, the real person transformed his two arms into turtle shells. And attached a layer of curse power on top. The fierce attack acted on the turtle shell. Under the double protection, the real person did not suffer any substantial harm. Upon seeing this, the real man's mouth cracked and his eyes widened. A strange laugh came from his mouth. Ihahaha, ihahaha, it hurts like this. You can honestly become my experiment. As soon as the voice fell, the real man's hands were full of curse power. Both feet turned into horseshoes, struggling to kick. The air actually made a sonic boom at this moment. He rushed to Wei Yuan in an instant, die, bang. The real person's fist was blocked by Huihara's stick. ZZZ. Where the curse powers intersect, there is a faint sparkle. Is it just this strength? Are you still? The anxious look on Wei Yuan's face disappeared, and a smile came up at the corner of his mouth. Stiff. Bang. The real person's body was wrapped in the magical power of Wei Yuan. The whole body froze in place and could not move. Your cursed spirit shouldn't appear in this world. So, please die. With a stick in his hand, he swung it toward the real person's neck. Porridge. At this moment, a piece of meat suddenly appeared on the real person. It fell on the ground and turned into a small real person. A dodge was 10 meters away. Ha ha ha. You are too tender if you want to kill me. Bang. Before he was happy, a short knife galloped. Cut on him instantly. I said, the boss would definitely not be so kind to let me go out on vacation, too. Chapter 378 Advertisement. When Wei Yuan heard the sound, he was taken aback. I didn't expect to meet other jujutsu teachers here. Creepy. The decapitated corpse in front of Wei Yuan suddenly turned into a tan slime.
Flow towards the sewage in the middle. Hurry and stop it. This guy wants to run away.
Before the words fell, Nanami Kento dived forward. One turned and took the short knife in his hand, chopped smoothly. Bang. A huge crack appeared on the ground instantly.
Roar. No fight. Unexpectedly, another difficult guy will come. But it seems to be of better quality than that one. Hey.
The eyes of that pair of mandarin ducks flashed with excitement. A strange laugh came from its mouth again. This battle will end soon. I don't want to work overtime because of you. Although Wei Yuan knew what he was talking about, but know that he has come to a powerful foreign aid.
He could not help but yelled at him. This cursed spirit is very weird. It can change the appearance of human beings at will according to its ideas.
We have to be careful of its jujutsu. Upon hearing this, Nanami Kento turned his attention to the real person. See the stitched interface covered with it. My heart is full of discomfort.
Haha, most of them are right, but one thing is wrong.
What I changed is not my appearance, but my soul. Do you think it is the existing body or the soul first? Nanami Kento didn't want to gossip with him. With a flick of the short knife, the whole person rushed over. The hand interrupted the blade with black light. When the real person saw this situation, there was a trace of fear in his heart. Although I don't know where the fear comes from, but instinct still let it make the option to escape. Put down the arms that were originally prepared to block. The whole body jumped towards the opposite bank. I come. Wei Yuan saw the timing. Appear in front of a real person, poke. The stick penetrates its body directly. What? No resistance. Huihara opened his eyes wide, trying to see what was happening before him.
But the real person obviously didn't give him a chance.
Go down you. Bang, Wei Yuan was kicked in the sewage. The real person continued this force and rushed towards the depths of the sewer. You wait here, and I will go. Nanami Kento comforted Huihara briefly, then lifted the knife and rushed inside. Advertisement. He caught the fear that a real person had about the short knife just now. Presumably this knife can easily take it off. The blade was glowing with white light at the moment, seeming to be responding to his thoughts. At the same time, Tokyo, house of everything. Ryuichi lay on the chair, her eyes slightly closed. It seems to be resting, but it also seems to be thinking about a problem. There are no outsiders in the shop at the moment, and Gojo Satoru is also looking around because of Kyoto. Ryuichi also has time to take a good rest. Now, the corners of his mouth lifted slightly. Seems to see some interesting pictures. Turned his body a bit, let himself maintain a comfortable posture. On the other side, Nanami Kento chased the intersection of the city's pipelines. Base. A figure rushed towards him. A gleam of light flashed in Nanami Kento's eyes. He twisted his body and fled the attack range. You can't escape, you can't escape. Boom. 2 attacks swept through. Nanami Kento leapt quickly enough to avoid this attack. The smoke dissipated, and there were 2 more dark gray wood piles on the ground. Help me, help me. Upon hearing the sound, Nanami Kento turned his gaze to the stake. A human face appeared on it, trying to make a request towards him. On the part of the eye, even a drop of liquid appeared. Are these human beings being transformed? Nanami Kento frowned, and the situation in front of him really made him feel unhappy. The real man put his chin in one hand, looked at the situation in front of him, and explained to him seriously. Sorry, I'm already proficient in changing the size, but the accuracy of that part of the brain is still not enough. There may be some sweat on the soul, don't worry, let's continue. Nanami Kento wiped away the tears from the stakes, and even though there was a lot of anger in his heart, the surface was still calm. I didn't care. My style is not to bring personal feelings into work. The real person's eyes shone, and he found that the other person's soul was shaking at the moment. It seems to be suppressing a certain emotion. Ha. No way to lie. Your soul is shaking. You are very angry now. I want to blow my head in the next second, right? What level are you now? Nanami Kento didn't come up because of its trash talk, and his voice remained steady. Premier. Yep. The expression of the real person who was still arrogant instantly solidified. Does the Jujutsu world have this level? Moreover, the meaning of this level does not mean he has the ability to kill the super cursed spirit? Hey, I don't think you are so powerful, I can't wait to make you my experiment. Advertisement whoosh. Bang. The real person accelerated, and the whole person appeared in front of Nanami tenaciously. A palm hit his belly, because the speed was too fast when Nanami Kento reacted. The palm of the real person has almost touched his shirt. Bang! There was an explosion. A backflip flashed out of Nanami Kento's attack range. The real person frowned at the moment, his eyes were looking at the palm of his previous attack. The eyes were full of doubts, obviously touched his body just now. Why doesn't it feel a bit? The smoke dissipated. Nanami Kento appeared in front of it intact. Do you have a defensive cursed tool? This is the only explanation that real people can think of at this moment. Upon hearing this, Nanami Kento looked at his abdomen. There is only a tight shirt, he didn't bring any defense cursed tool. Actually, I don't know what just happened. The real man's eyes were fixed, as if he wanted to learn some more information from his soul. But the result disappointed him. At this moment, his soul is very stable, and there is no sign of lying. Ha ha ha, I am more and more interested in you, join my collection, I will treat you well. Whoosh whoosh. Several small things were thrown into the air by real people. When it landed, it transformed into a few small monsters. Quack quack. Ha, scrambling to rush towards Nanami Kento. Help me, kill me, kill me. Nanami Kento looked at the expressions on the monsters' faces and listened to the shouts in their mouths. It must be very painful for you to live like this. Shocking. The blade passed through the hand. These monsters landed one after another. After a few flops, he lost his breath. The monster who had been calling for help made an inner voice at the last moment. Thank you. Call. Nanami Kento took a deep breath, expelling the excess air from his lungs. Take off his suit with one hand. The faint blue curse power instantly covered his whole body. I really hate working overtime, but I seem to hate you more than working overtime. Chapter 379 Advertisement. Feel the density of the curse on Nanami Kento. There was a trace of pressure on his body. The bizarre pupils of the real man shrank suddenly. Looking at the broken blade in the opponent's hand and the clothes on his body. Ha ha ha, since you don't like working overtime, then I'll leave, let's talk again when we have time. As he said, the whole body turned into a mouse, ready to escape along the sewage pipe. The curse power in the guy behind is still rising. No matter how long it stays, it cannot guarantee that it will be able to go out. No, I said, I hate you more than working overtime. So I decided to kill you this time, whoosh. A black light flashed. The short blade instantly plunged into the ground in front of the real person. That piercing chill instantly eroded its will. Death was engraved into its mind with the knife. The real person stood up straight in an instant. The fur on his body burst instantly, and he looked like a hedgehog that had been malnourished. You can only fight with me now. Running away will only speed up your death. In an instant, Nanami's curse power on 23 people reached its peak. A huge pressure came from his body, pressed towards the real person in front. Looking at the danger in front of him, and the threat coming from behind. Real people regret what they did just now, immediately transformed into a human form and stood up. You just keep the weapon in front of me, isn't it a bit too arrogant? Having said that, he was ready to touch it with his own hands. Base. A knife groaned. The real person's forearm landed instantly. Whoosh whoosh, pop, the black blade spun in the air and returned to Nanami Kento's hands. The real man looked at his arm on the ground with a dull face. His face is incredible. Is the current cursed tool so smart? This is a short knife that my boss ordered for me, cursed spirit, untouchable. A flat voice came from the side, but to a real person, it was undoubtedly not a mockery. Ha 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 ha, cursed spirit. Compared to you disgusting reptiles, we should be humans. No, it should be more real humans than humans. With that said, he held his broken arm in his hand. Prepare to use jujutsu to connect it. What? The real person's pupils shrank suddenly. My soul was cut off. What happened just now was so sudden that it didn't have time to care about the broken arm. Advertisement. Only now I realized that my soul in the arm was cut off by the black blade. This situation has never been seen before. That knife was made by his boss, isn't it? An inexplicable chill enveloped his body. Your boss is called Zenin Ryuichi? Oh, it seems you know him. Hearing this, the real person's face is full of guard. Now it just wants to escape here quickly. A piece of armor that can defend against change of inaction. A short knife that can sever the soul. Seems to see the real person's retreat. Nanami Kento stopped talking nonsense and dived directly. Ready to solve the battle directly, at this time. The real person took out a few things from his arms, but did not throw them out this time. It is swallowed directly into the abdomen. In an instant, the broken arm was instantly repaired. It's not easy to make this kind of human being that can be stored, but fortunately it can be used as a potion when necessary. Before the words were over, Nanami Kento came with a knife. The magical power of the faint blue erupted instantly. The whole knife seemed to be enveloping an ocean. It is so beautiful and dangerous, right here. A breakpoint appeared on the real person. Nanami was tenacious and did not hesitate, lifted the knife and swung it away. Yep, ha ha ha, if I was hit just now, I might be dead. Fortunately, I will transform. Xiaojung sat on one of the steps, bit his fingers, and looked at Nanami Kento with excitement. Although it can't escape, but for now, this guy's jujutsu is not a big threat to it. Although its soul can be cut off, as long as it is not touched, isn't it alright? Ha ha ha, although you can't offend Zenin Ryuichi, you are still too naive to kill me like this. How long can you hold on to these increased curse powers? Upon hearing this, Nanami Kento lowered his head in thought and spoke. My jujutsu divides the length of the target into equal parts, and forcibly creates weaknesses at the 7 to 3 point. As long as you hit the point, you can trigger a critical strike. Even an enemy that is stronger than the caster can cause a certain amount of damage. Any part can be designated as the target of attack, and it is also effective against objects other than creatures. The technique is open. The real man listened to the introduction with excitement, and his body began to recover at this moment. It seems you were serious, but what's the use? After speaking, the real person jumped directly down the steps. This stalemate does not have much advantage to it. After all, there is a senior jujutsu teacher outside. Advertisement. Nanami Kento did not respond. One turned around and started to run back. Want to run away? Nothing, ha ha ha. The one who had just been chased looked like a mouse, after discovering the weakness of the opponent jujutsu. It regained the initiative. At this time, he couldn't help but began to play tricks. Nanami Kento felt the hunt behind him, his eyes searching everywhere. His attack is difficult to hit this cursed spirit. If you want to kill it, you have to kill it with one blow. Suddenly, a clearing appeared in front of him. Nanami Kento's eyes narrowed. Good. Right there, with a strong kick with both legs, the whole person flew up in the air.
10 strokes of spells Walloaluo. Boom. The faint blue curse power wrapped his fist and hit the wall with one punch.
The huge curse power passed along the cracks into not a single piece of gravel. The whole wall shattered. The stones of Yulin seemed to weigh 1,000 catties, exuding a terrifying pressure on the surrounding creatures. The real person stood below, and for some reason, the more he saw the other side's power.
It gets more and more excited. Although it was very dangerous at the moment, there was still a sick smile on its face. However, looking at the sky full of rubble, it's better to avoid it. Single quote.
Base. Dark shadows flashed. The human body shrank instantly.
Do you think I will not pay attention to your actions at this time?
Ha ha ha. How do you underestimate me? The range of attack power is quite wide, but still can't hit me. Just when the old power of the two is gone and the new power is not born.
A stick appeared silently above the real person's head. It just connects subconsciously. Not good. Single quote. In an instant, it was ready to let go. But it was too late. Stiff. The real person is stiff and unable to move his entire body.
Kill him. Shocking. 5 black lights flashed. The limbs of the real person were removed. Let's go first, please take the time to treat the injury. Chapter 380. Advertisement. Afterwards, the two dashed away and left. Rumble. The violent roar spread throughout the sewage channel. The two stood outside and heard the voice inside.
A smile appeared on Uehara's face. Hello, my name is Uehara, and I am now a quasi-level jujutsu teacher of the Jujutsu Association. Uehara stretched out his right hand and introduced himself.
Hello, my name is Nanami Kento, and I am currently working at Tokyo Wanshia. After introducing himself, Nanami Kento shook hands with him plainly. His face did not show any joy after victory. We are not victorious. That fate can change the state of the soul. The attack just now will cause it a little trouble at best. But in recent months, I believe he should not come out to make trouble again. As the voice fell, the curse power on Nanami Kento's body also dissipated.
I think there is a cooperation between our jujutsu. I made him stiff, and you can kill him during this time.
Yes, but there won't be too many opportunities for cooperation in the future. I'm leaving. After all, it's still my vacation. With that said, Nanami Kento put on his suit. With a flash in his hand, the black blade disappeared. The figure gradually disappeared into the sunset. Uehara looked at the dark sewer entrance. Although he had the heart to go in to make up for the real person, but Nei didn't have that strength. Going in now is purely a gift. Wei Yuan answered the phone and left this filthy place. Not long. A figure with black hair on top of his head in casual clothes appeared beside the pile of rocks. Oh, the battle seems fierce. Gu rumbling. Under the rubble, a white worm-like creature emerged. Hoo. After the body came out, it instantly became bigger. Ha ha ha, that jujutsu teacher is so messy, it doesn't match the appearance at all. It turns out I'm still alive, it seems I shouldn't bring things over. As he said, the box in Edo Yutojang's hand was put back on his chest. When the real person saw the box, the smile on his face froze, but the next second he let it go. Heihu, do you know? Fighting with that person, I learned a lot. Even if my soul is cut off, as long as the inside I can get in, I can repair it in the shortest time. As long as I maintain my soul state, I won't die. Having said that, the real person pulled out his right leg from the pile of rocks. It looked like a plasticine at the moment, but in the next second, the leg recovered. As for the consumption of curse power, it is not a problem at all. Advertisement. The real person at the moment, except that he has no clothes on his body. It's the same as when fighting. It's okay, how about it, are you going to go back now? Hearing this, the real person stroked his chin with his right hand, and thoughts flashed in his eyes. Go back? Wait a minute, I still have something to do. This battle taught him two things. Gojo Satoru and Zenin Ryuichi are not here. Just take advantage of this time to wave some more. After all, after this month has passed, their plans will begin to be implemented. It must be very busy then. When he saw it, he didn't say much, but reminded, if you die, don't blame me for not reminding you. With that, he patted his chest twice. The smile on the real person's face disappeared, and he looked at the back of Heihu Yangtu leaving. There was a different look in his eyes. Then, many experimental products appeared in the body. No way, just be my ration first. The following day, the weather was fine. Only a pool of sewage appeared in the air surging there. Under this sky is the school where Junpei Yoshino is. In that spacious gymnasium, all the teachers and students of the school are presenting awards inside. Is this what you are going to do today? Looks quite boring. Heihu Yongren looked at the account in the sky. His face was boring. I thought there was nothing to do, but the result was to come to school to kill. But the real person has no time to talk to him at the moment. Born from darkness, from dark to dark. Foul residuals, remove it by all means. As soon as the voice fell, all the sewage in the air flowed down. Wrap the whole school inside. Oh, it's done. Real people are very happy to see the account they set up. He smiled as if a child was praised by his parents. Yudo Heihu looked at the shrouded sky. Can't help but have doubts in my mind. What is the effect of this account? You can only go in but not out, but only for ordinary humans. Hearing this, Heihu Yongren looked at it calmly. An account of unknown significance suddenly appeared in the urban area, and will report the situation here soon. I hope you can see what you want to see. I'll leave first, and good luck to you. Advertisement. With that, Heihu Yongren turned and left. At every moment here, the pendant on his chest reminded him of danger. It seems that what two people do together is under someone's surveillance. This feeling is too dangerous, it's better to go first. Diaresis, don't you stop and watch together? The container of Sukuna will appear soon. No, you can see for yourself. Heihu Yongren's voice came from a distance, and in the blink of an eye he disappeared into its vision through the tent. Oh, what's wrong with this guy? It feels like there is something urgent to do. Forget it, since you don't watch it, then I can only appreciate it by myself. In the gym, all students have fallen to the ground. A fat teacher was kneeling on the ground looking at the injuries of his classmates. Yoshino. What the hell are you doing? Looking at the students who fell on the ground, the teacher's eyes were full of sadness. Unexpectedly, that well-behaved student would do such a terrible thing. If you hurt other classmates like this, will you really be happy? Hearing the teacher's question, Yoshino Junpei's eyes instantly widened. A few strands of blood pierced through the white eyeballs. Am I happy? Am I happy? When I was bullied, why didn't you ask them if they were happy? What happened at the time? Dare you say, Lee Nuos, you didn't see it? But Yoshino Junpei did not report to him either. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. There was a round scar on it. With that, Yoshino Junpei's hair on one side. I'm kneeling for you. I'll talk about this later. I have another thing to do. Yoshino, I'm sorry. It's all the teacher's fault. Can you let them go? As he said, he knelt down towards him, but I didn't expect that his ignorance would have such serious consequences. He held the attitude that one more thing is worse than one less thing, and he didn't see it all. The fat teacher knew at a glance how this was caused. But this action did not arouse his pity. Step by step towards the high platform. Begin to kowtow, only to be able to redeem the sin on my body. Yoshino, what are you going to do? Have something to say. His face was sweaty and his teeth trembled. He did see what happened at that time. Boom boom boom. Ta-ta-ta. Chapter 381 Advertisement. Tokyo, House of Everything. Ryuichi lies in the office. There was a faint smile on his face. Nanami Kento still can't kill that real person. Then this holiday is meaningless. I recalled the scene of yesterday's battle in my mind. Nanami Kento's combat mode is still too rigid. Encountering such a cursed spirit who likes to play tricks, his jujutsu loses its greatest effect. Even if you enter the state of overtime, use the technique to open it. Still can't hurt the opponent. Wait for the guy's shear to come back and let him teach Nanami how to deal with cursed spirit. Suddenly, there was a thought in my heart. A frame flashed through those moony white eyes. Oh, has it started? The crumb of a real person is as disgusting as in the original book? Immediately, the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Whoosh, disappeared in the House of Everything. All things house closed for one day, at the same time, in the campus. Bang! There was a loud noise. The glass in the corridor shattered. Two figures rushed out from inside. Phuket, Yoshino Junpei fell on his own shikigami. The soft body helped him weaken most of his injuries. But the few rolls down still caused damage to his body as an ordinary person. The jellyfish-like god floated by his side, seeming to be concerned about his injury. Why? Why are you obstructing me? Why? Why? Junpei Yoshino crossed his hands, gestured, and cursed. Puff. The tentacles of the jellyfish-style god behind him instantly condensed. Turned into two awl-like claws, he stared at Itadori falling from the sky. The moment he landed, it was the best time to defeat him. It's now. The tentacles of Shikigami stretched out quickly, like a spear, slammed at him suddenly. So fast. Seeing this, Itadori's pupils shrank sharply. His body twisted abruptly in the air. Can avoided these attacks. Snapped. Land on both feet. At this moment, the curse power surged into both hands. These two fists are his most powerful weapons, whizzing. Advertisement. The two tentacles stabbed again. At the moment when I was about to meet Itadori. The fists carrying the curse power slammed down. Click. The two black vertebrae knocked off instantly. For a while, Junpei Yoshino was also affected by this attack. The whole body shook suddenly. Good chance. Itadori didn't stop, but dived forward. When encountering a magician who uses Shijin, the best way is to attack the magician himself. In an instant, Itadori's body appeared beside him. Sharp eyes fixed on his profile. Bang! A punch with cursive power swept away. But when he was about to touch Yoshino Junpei, his fist skewed. Knock him into the air with his entire forearm. In the end, he still couldn't bear to use curse power on the friend he just met. Bang! The glass in the corridor on the second floor shattered again. Junpei Yoshino fell on the stairs on the second floor. Whoosh! The figure of Itadori appeared in the window. Looking at Yoshino lying on the ground, he felt a little unbearable. You must have your reasons for doing these things, but are you really willing to give up the happiness you have now because of this? Have you ever thought about having your mother? Tick tick. Big teardrops fell from Yoshino's eyes. The word mother is like a knife, rubbing hard on his battered heart. No, nothing. Hearing what he said, a terrifying thought gradually came to his mind. Yoshino, come to the college. There are the strongest teachers and a group of reliable companions. As long as we work together, you will find curse your mother's guy. At that time, he will definitely pay the price. Let's fight together. Yoshino looked at Itadori, who was squatting in front of him, and his heart warmed. The word of promise is in the mouth. Step on. Who are you? Itadori stared at the visitor with wide eyes. Wrong. This feeling. It's cursed spirit. Sukuna's container, our first meeting, please take care of me. As soon as the voice fell, the real person seemed to proliferate on the left-hand side. Suddenly grew bigger and attacked towards Itadori. In just a moment, Itadori was pushed against the wall, unable to move. Real man, Itadori, he is not a bad man. Junpei Yoshino looked at the real person who had been helping him at the moment, and his eyes were full of pity. Yoshino, no matter what your relationship was before, run away. Advertisement, please, run away. Itadori is now very convinced that this guy is the culprit that caused the movie theater incident. If so, its closeness to Yoshino Junpei's purpose is very worthy of scrutiny. Itadori, listen to me, Mr. Mortal, it helped me very much. At this time, the real person walked slowly to Yoshino Junpei's side. Junpei is a fool who is second only to those who are considered fools by you, so you will die. Besides, I put the finger in your house. The sound was very soft, but it sounded like a thunder from Yoshino. It exploded in his head, and for a while, he felt a little dizzy. Snapped. A real person's hand rested on his shoulder. Junpei Yoshino recalled the experimental product he held in his hand at that time. So, I'm just an experiment, do nothing to change. Puff puff. Yoshino's body suddenly swelled. The whole person was supported like a platypus. It's just that the color is dark blue, and it looks like it is poisoned. Start the second round. The platypus Yoshino rushed directly to Itadori. Although he hit a few punches, it was turned back and locked under the armpit by Itadori. Wait Yoshino. I will treat you, please wait, bump. The platypus did not stop attacking. Although it is locked, it still has one hand to move. Itadori endured the pain in his abdomen, his teeth clenched, and called out loudly. Sukuna. Sukuna. Come out. I know that you guy is very powerful. Didn't you always want to negotiate terms with me? I promise everything now, please heal Shunpei. In an emergency, Sukuna is his last and only guy he thinks can rescue Yoshino Junpei. Really? But I refuse. Talked to you well before, you don't have to talk, now, I don't want to exchange it. You regret it right here, but it seems that I will never get this answer. The mocking laughter of Sukuna and the real person surrounded his ears. It looked at Itadori pitifully and seemed to want to see the answer in his face. At this time, he was truly understanding. Pulling Itadori's clothes in one hand, he exhausted the last bit of effort and asked. Some sanity was restored in the brain. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Curate, you are willing to do everything? He, ha ha ha, hoo hoo hoo. The platypus is in extreme physical condition. Cursed spirit, it's just cursed spirit. Why got hurt, it's always me, Yuji, why, Why? Sukuna's words pulled Itadori's mood from the ground to the abyss. To help them, it is better to go to the monastery to ask the Buddha for blessing. Even if it is like a human being, it will not have human feelings. Step, 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 he, ha ha ha. Chapter 382 Advertisement. Itadori was taken aback when he heard the sound. It didn't take until Zenin Ryuichi stood between him and the real person. Yes. As long as you can save him back, Itadori is like seeing at the moment, a life-saving straw. As long as there is a chance, he will not give up. A hole. How can you beg him? Do you know that begging him to have more serious consequences? Sukuna changed her previous arrogance. Having been in Itadori for so long, it was clear what Zenin Ryuichi had done. This kind of person is simply an enhanced version of him. Dealing with this kind of person, Itadori must be eaten without scum. Then he will look for a container again. That would waste a lot of time. Hearing that Sukuna was so repulsive, Itadori felt confident. This shows that Zenin Ryuichi must have the ability to rescue Yoshino Junpei. Moreover, he is a human. Please. Itadori bowed straight at 90 degrees. I will help you save him. As long as you leave here, I will save him. Noisy. Ryuichi's calm voice came into Itadori's ears. He didn't respond, but the mouth of Sukuna on his face disappeared instantly. In an instant, cold sweat spread all over his body. Even teacher Gojo Satoru can't do this. How strong is this guy? At this moment, the real man was looking at Ryuichi solemnly. My transformation of human beings is based on the soul level, and the reversal warlock cannot be restored at all. This guy really has the ability to change the soul? Out of curiosity, it remained silent. Want to see how things will develop. Junpei Yoshino on the ground is almost dying at this moment. An unknown liquid was being left in his eyes. The big flat mouth slowly opened, but he couldn't say a word. Two emotions of hope and despair are intertwined in his eyes. Ryuichi looked at his state, and a smile flashed in those moon-white eyes. Since getting full hand, he has not used it. At present, there is nothing in this world that can hurt him. Now you can test the capabilities of full hand. In an instant, Jujutsu surged. A blue spell wrapped Ryuichi's hands, then lightly touched Yoshino Junpei's body. For a while, the curse power spread on him. At this time, Junpei Yoshino's body was a shell in Ryuichi's eyes. The soul in the body was squeezed inside in a strange posture. There is even more chaos in that part of his head. Even if he rescued his body, he would die suddenly because of brain problems. You are lucky. Muttered softly, and then, the huge curse power entered his body with his hands. Advertisement. Although he has the ability to slowly modify. But why do you do that? Wipe. Junpei Yoshino's body began to twitch frantically on the ground. It looks so painful. Shunping, are you okay? Hold on. This person is very powerful, he will definitely heal you. You must. At this moment, Yoshino Junpei's body began to gradually shrink. The color karma on the body gradually receded. Ah, it hurts. At this time, he could finally make a human voice. Seeing this scene, Itadori finally showed a smile on his face. Then stared at the culprit of this matter. The real man looked at what happened before him with a dull face. Itadori couldn't see what happened inside Yoshino Junpei's body. But it can see clearly. Before forcing Yoshino Junpei's soul to pinch back to its original shape with a huge curse. Now he is adjusting his brain. I can't provoke this guy. Thinking of this, the real person backed away, prepared to take advantage of this time and sneak away. When I came, I saw that there was an account here, so I strengthened it easily. You can try the effect. Ryuichi did not get up at the moment. After all, it was the first time to use full hand. Try to test every ability of it. After all, full hand may be like Tongtian talisman, and may not be used in the future. Mr. Ryuichi, just let it run like this, he can't run away. When speaking, Ryuichi didn't even lift his head. Just 4 words, but it shows strong self-confidence. Hearing that, the real man didn't hesitate to turn around and rushed outside. Mr. Ryuichi, you go on, I'll go after it. After speaking, Itadori chased in the direction of the real person. After hearing the sound of footsteps away, Ryuichi grabbed Yoshino Junpei's head and stood by the window. Come, watch the show with me. As soon as the voice fell, Junpei Yoshino's eyes widened. Unconsciously looking at the situation in front of him. At this moment, the real person has escaped to the school gate with doubts in his eyes. This is still the account I placed before? Is this guy lying to me? Thinking about it, he touched his hands towards the edge. Base, seeking flowers. Many red eyes appeared instantly above the black screen. Like a series of demons in the abyss, staring closely at the hands of real people. Advertisement, this guy. See this scene. The real person's hand was immediately retracted. Its instinct tells it if he dares to touch these things. After all, there will be no burial place. Untie. What? It widened its eyes and stared at the tent incredibly. There was a huge wave in my heart. There is still a connection between Mingming and account, but why can't I solve it? Now. The escaping back of Yodohedo came to its mind. Something seemed to be understood in my mind. A sick smile appeared on his face. Now. A voice came from behind it. Stop, you fellow, you turned the heat into that, just want to run away like this? I will never allow it. Base. Boom. Itadori suddenly disappeared in place, his hands wrapped in a powerful curse. The anger in my heart can no longer be stopped. Only by squeezing the guy in front of him can he get rid of the cruelty in his heart. Ha 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 ha, just rely on you. Seeing Itadori's movements, the real person is not afraid. For this kind of magician who can only fight in close quarters. It is definitely their natural enemy. I saw its hands turned into steel knives, and the blade was wrapped in curse power. Without avoiding the counterattack, he flew towards Itadori and charged. Watching the attack on the opposite side jokingly. Ha ha ha. Sukuna's container, let me see what you can do. Bang. The two attacks collided. The huge curse power rode a hurricane that raged across the campus. The fat teacher in the gym heard the movement outside. Want to go to the gate and take a look. As soon as he probed, he was blown back by a hurricane. It's better to take care of the students with peace of mind. Although the students on the ground were injured, they did not worry about their lives. Recalling all the weaknesses I had before, gritted my teeth. I pressed the decision in my heart. As long as he was a teacher for one day, he would not allow Ba Ling to appear in his class. It hurts. Junpei Yoshino changed his form crazily during this experiment. But the screams were as loud as ever. It seems that there should be a lot of energy. Ryuichi watched their battles with a qualitative nature. The corners of his mouth raised slightly, as if thinking of something interesting. Earth. Chapter 383 advertisement. At this time, several people in black stood outside the tent. The huge curse power prevents them from making any changes. Can only wait for the above support. What are you doing? My child is inside. Let me in. Help. Someone kidnapped a student. You guys get out. This is the school. You have blocked it privately. Do you know what responsibility you have to pay? Call your planners over? The man in black took these accusations in vain. Laugh. The brakes rang. The onlookers looked back subconsciously. Two figures appeared in their sight. Ignore their eyes. He gestured to the man in black and walked into the blockade. The huge shady is like a pot lid, enclosing the entire school. From time to time, there are some black arcs wandering in it. Just approaching, a great pressure almost overwhelmed them. 597. There is such a terrifying curse power on this, I can't imagine the people who use it. Wei Yuan sighed involuntarily, the strength between the two was too far apart. If he rushed in like this, he would definitely die in his hands. Nanami Kento felt the power of the curse above, and there was a trace of clarity in his calm eyes. He raised his foot and was ready to go in. Hey, the guy inside is at least a special grade, and definitely stronger than the guy yesterday. The matter here has been reported. We're here to assist in the work. It would be better to wait for Senior Gojo Satoru to come and support. Nanami Kento didn't stop, and said without looking back, you were waiting here, I'll go in and take a look. If I guess right, I will be safer inside than here. Zzz. The voice fell off. His figure disappeared from the field of vision. When Huihara saw this scene, his mind didn't react for a while. The right hand stopped in the air, not knowing where to put it for a while. Just go in like this. Haibara's eyes flickered when thinking that Itadori and Ijichi were also inside. If you die, die. As soon as the teeth were bitten, the whole person rushed inward. Zzz. I just felt a ringing in my ears. As soon as it was dark, he entered the campus. At the same time, the real person and Itadori are already in the center of the campus. Past the temptation just now, the two can be regarded as knowing the strength of each other. Ha ha ha. It's amazing to be a container for Sukuna, but you don't seem to be able to hurt me. Looking at Itadori, the real person's face was full of mockery. The wings behind him fluttered gently, bringing some dust on the ground. Sudden. The nose feels warm. Subconsciously wipe it with his hand. Advertisement, bleeding. The real person looked at the liquid in his hand, his smile gradually reduced. Yes, Sukuna's soul lives in this guy's body. Such an attack can naturally harm the soul. Thinking of this person wiped his blood. He. You didn't think about me, you could hurt me. It seems that we are each other's natural enemies. Hearing this, Itadori's eyes were full of anger. He only hit that one in the temptation just now. The rest of the tools were all avoided. Not only that, but also distracted to defend against its sneak attacks. This kind of battle is too exhausting. No matter how high the damage is, if you fail to hit the enemy, it is equal to 0. Zzz. The electric current is surging. Two figures appeared in the campus courtyard. Sure enough, it's the cursed spirit. Your recovery speed exceeded my expectations. The appearance of Nanami Kento broke the deadlock between the two. Seeing this figure, the real person's pupils suddenly shrank. The body couldn't help taking 2 steps back, looking at the two people in front of him with a serious face. Itadori looked at this figure with doubts in his eyes. Uncle. Who are you, uncle? You've reached this age unknowingly. He was speaking, but his eyes scanned around. Finally found the figure on the second floor. Boss, this seems a bit different from what you said about the holiday. Hearing this, he seemed to feel the resentment in his heart. A slight smile appeared on Ryuichi's face. Same, after today, you have 4 days to rest. Upon hearing this, Nanami Kento took off his suit. Loosened the tie around his neck. Alright, I got it. Then, the short blade was held in his hand, a fighting stance. Huihara stood behind him, looking at the window on the second floor as well. Zenin Ryuichi. This or someone from another jujutsu teacher appeared in front of him. All feelings were mixed for a while. It stands to reason that when you see such a terrifying character, you should have both surprise and fear in your heart. But now, he feels very safe. Immediately walked to Itadori. Itadori, how is the situation here? Hearing a familiar voice, Itadori's face loosened. The classmates are all in the gym. It looks like they are poisoned. A teacher is taking care of them inside. As for Junpei Yoshino, at this point, Itadori's eyes narrowed and his voice stopped. Advertisement for a while, I wondered if I should tell the news that Shunping was still alive. He felt immensely sympathetic to Shunping's experience. I really don't want Junpei to recover and be executed by the Jujutsu Association. Snapped. A hand rested on his shoulder. Wei Yuan comforted him silently. There is only one culprit in all of this, isn't it? Looking at Huihara's eyes, Itadori smiled again on his face. At this time, a huge sharp thorn suddenly came. The two felt cold and jumped back instantly. Boom. The sharp thorn pierced the ground, and a huge smoke was lifted. Looking at it, the real person turned into a sea urchin at this moment. His body was covered with spikes, and he was carrying out an assault indiscriminately. It was chaotic for a while. Immediately, Itadori and Huihara also joined the battle. Real people are overwhelmed at a time. Ryuichi watched the battle below. System reminders echoed in my mind. Full hand progressed 35%. Full hand progressed 37%. Full hand progressed 40%. Ryuichi looked at Yoshino Junpei who had passed out in his hand, and a trace of regret flashed in his bright eyes. It seems that you can't brush experience like this. After that, he pinched the body beside Yoshino into a human shape. Put it aside and leave him alone. Suddenly, real people released many transforming people. I want to kill Itadori with these humans. Itadori was holding a reformer in his hand and saw the scene just now. The curse power is condensed in the hand, holding the transformed person with one hand. One of the reformers flew to his side. What are you using to negotiate terms with me now? Bang. Suddenly there was a solution in my mind. It seems that the road to transforming people is no longer feasible. Throw it aside. Hearing this, the corner of Ryuichi's mouth curled slightly. Even after the renovation, there was no movement in the progress bar. Ryuichi snapped his fingers. Mr. Ryuichi, please change these people back too. But this time, the progress bar of full hand has not changed at all. Puff puff. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Snapped. The huge curse power poured into its soul, causing it to change its shape. Chapter 384 Advertisement, Play with me, play with me. The little reformer struggled in his hands. The small body contains powerful power. It was difficult to catch it for a while. Itadori seemed to feel the pain in its soul, and there was a cloud of haziness in its eyes. Please, Mr. Ryuichi, you can obviously save them. No response was received for this request. The hope in my heart can't help but disappear halfway. Shocking. 3 remolders came up again. When I was distracted, I was pressed by them. Sitting on his chest is a transformed man resembling a small dinosaur. Stretching out the sharp claws, ready to dig into his chest. Please, kill me. Tears flowed down the corners of his mouth, dripping onto Itadori's face. Although he didn't know it was sweat on the soul, he felt the pain in their soul. Is it really that uncomfortable? Bang bang bang? Click. Looking at the 3 reformers who fell to the ground. The anger in Itadori's heart escalated again. Looking up, Ryuichi is looking at him with a smile. A light blue light appeared in those eyes. Then my heart felt cold, as if I could see through 23 North in an instant. Suppressing the throbbing in his heart, he nodded towards Ryuichi. Then rushed to the real person. This guy must die. That's it, I don't know if Daiei can make this kind of thing. The light blue light gradually disappeared, and moon-white eyes appeared again. Looking at the real person who was gradually at a disadvantage below. It's time to end. The voice fell off. The huge curse power envelops the entire campus. The sky that was originally dim was even darker at this moment. Senior Huihara. What's wrong? Is this a realm? That cursed spirit's realm? Itadori looked around anxiously. This sudden change disrupted the rhythm of the attacks of several people. I don't know how to deal with it for a while, so I can only seize the time to confirm the position of the senior. If it is in the field of cursed spirit, if you want to go out, you may really need Sukuna's help. I don't know, but don't worry, stand still and don't move. Nanami. Do you know what's wrong? He jumped off suddenly in the realm, but he didn't see the real Jian. Even if it is the domain of the super cursed spirit, the scope is too big. Advertisement, probably clear, just wait at ease. Nanami Kento stared at the surroundings. This dark environment made him feel familiar. But there is one thing missing. Call, a scarlet blood moon hung in the sky. The red light illuminates the whole world. They finally gained visibility again to check the location of their teammates. Creepy. The sound of squirming traversed their heads. Look, what's that up there? Itadori looked up and found that the original sky was covered by black objects. At first glance, it looks like a patch of dark clouds, not too surprising. But if you look closely, you will find that there are some silk threads among these dark clouds. Intertwined with each other, looking at it makes people feel hairy. That's hair. A flat voice came from the side, and Nanami Kento felt very relaxed at this moment. When the blood moon appeared, he knew that this was one of the boss's domains. Silver. When Huihara and Itadori saw him so peaceful, their hearts moved. Probably guessed who the owner of this field is. Can't help but settle in my heart. Ha 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 ha. Is this the field? So amazing. I really want to learn. Ha ha ha. What a terrifying coercion. What a strong curse power. It would be great if it were all mine. The real person seemed to be crazy, looking at the sky, smiling unscrupulously. It has no chance of winning. Ha ha ha. Do you want to kill me? I won't kill you. Blowed. When the real person's eyes rolled, the whole person quickly swelled. It looked like a captured pufferfish, his whole body was swollen to the point. Seeing the possibility of explosion at any time, good chance. Seeing a real person standing still, Itadori was ready to go to make the last punch. Don't worry, it won't burst. This made Itadori stunned for a moment, subconsciously looking forward. Whoosh whoosh, Sky's hair seemed to feel threatened. Leaving quickly towards the real person, wrap its limbs instantly. Buzzing. The sound of vibration floats into space. Under the blood moon, a throne is slowly rising. Advertisement. And above the throne, sitting a young man, dressed in white, is very eye-catching in this space. Especially the white eyes of the pair of moons, so that people can't forget it after a glance. Enter here, I will decide your life or death, Guru Guru. The hair on a real person looks like leeches. Suck away all the curse power in the real person's body. Not long after, the real person changed back to the original appearance. Feel the curse power gradually disappearing from the body. The jokes that had been hidden under the eyes finally dissipated. The threat of death hung over his head. Is Zenin Ryuichi? Let's make a deal. As long as you let me go, I will change those reformed people back into new ones, how about? The real person looked at the throne, and sweat gradually appeared on his body. At this moment, it mobilizes the last trace of curse power in the body and gathers its eyes. It wants to use the soul to judge whether this trick is useful. In an instant, there was a light in front of me. The dazzling light is like the sun in the sky, burning everything around. One dodged in no hurry, his eyes were severely stabbed. What? With a scream, 602 lines of blood and tears flowed from its eye sockets. It was pitch black now, and there was nothing to see. The light just now has shattered the last glimmer of hope in its heart. With such a soul, you will definitely not trade with it. Several people around saw the real person who suddenly became blind, and it was a little unclear. But when Itadori saw this guy's appearance, he couldn't help but secretly said, cool. If I can get a few punches, that's even better. Although he hopes to save those reformed people back. But if this guy does not die, more humans will suffer. There will be the next Yoshino Junpei. Ryuichi saw the appearance of the real person, and a hint of mockery flashed in his bright eyes. Little cursed spirit dared to spy on the power of heaven and earth. Since I'm here, wouldn't it be for nothing if I didn't enjoy the tempera massage? Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, countless hairs flocked to real people like a wave of snakes. Pouch. Puff. For a time, it looked like a sharp sword with a handle. Penetrated his body. The black hair got into its body. Not long after, it filled every corner of his body like straw. Ha ha ha, this point doesn't make sense to me. As long as you go out, this injury can heal in less than a minute. Cough. Ahem. As soon as the voice fell, a mouthful of blood spurted out of his throat. This is just the appetizer, the next is the dinner. Chapter 385 Advertisement. The voice was like a whisper of a devil, wandering through the entire space. It seems that in this world, countless people are repeating it. Wandering in everyone's ears over and over again. She couldn't help but shudder, and Itadori and Huihara looked at each other. Seeing the worry in the other's eyes, after all, they should also be considered guests of this space. Will it be on a whim and entertain them again? Chi 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 chi. Chi 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 chi. The hair in the sky twitched wildly at the moment. As if responding to his request, the real person's body began to twitch involuntarily at this moment. Its body is completely occupied by hair at this moment. The body has completely kept its orders and can only helplessly watch this happen. Shocking. Hideous. At this time, the real person's body began to twitch frantically. It seems that there is something in it, about to split out. Bang. Next second. its body was torn apart and then divided into two identical real people. Itadori was startled by the sudden appearance of the real person. Thinking this was a trick played by a real person, he prepared to escape by himself. Immediately prepared to step forward to stop. At this time, two arms appeared in front of him. At some point, Nanami Kento and Haibara appeared beside him. Stop him one by one. Just watch it with peace of mind. In the boss's domain, there will be no situation out of control. Hearing this, Itadori was taken aback and turned his attention to Weiyuan. Found that he also shook his head towards himself. He put his hands down and calmly looked at everything in front of him. It's not my style to hide behind people like this. After I go back, I must redouble my training. Thinking of this, the fist that had just been put down, squeezed again, and the knuckles became slightly white because of too much force. And the real person at this moment didn't know what happened. I just felt that there was an unforgettable pain just now, and it almost broke down. Snapped. Ryuichi snapped his fingers. The light blue curse power went down the hair and passed into the real person's body. Next moment, Scarlet once again caught the eyes of real people. Not only the eyes, but the curse power in the body is slowly recovering. Advertisement, why treat me, why treat me? The same sentence, the same voice, appear at the same time. The real person looked around in horror. I found that there was another self beside me. Is it? That sting just now, before the real person could react, the previous pain struck again. Ah! The body split again, and four real people appeared on the ground. They look at each other. Real people are very familiar with this feeling, but very strange. The four of them have the same soul, but they are divided from each other, and each body has its own independent thought. This avatar has been eaten many times without any pain. Unexpectedly, being forcibly divided by others like this would cause such severe pain. At this moment, it finally knew why this Zenin Ryuichi wanted to treat its eyes. Why should it be given the curse power? This is all to let it see it with its own eyes and make it howl vigorously. Ha ha ha, compared to you, I think I'm as good as a human being. It's really interesting to have someone like you in the world. I don't know, those Jujutsu teachers, will they stage the Ryōmen Sukuna again? Ha ha ha. Knowing that you can't escape, it's better to vent the grievances in your heart. Oh, still in the mood to speak, it seems that things are pretty good. As soon as the voice fell, those hair twitched again. 4 times the pain hits the brain wearing it while in the field. Even fainting is a luxury. Ah, what are you doing? Then, a real person uttered a terrible cry. I saw its body began to deform, and after a while, it turned into a wild boar. Then there was no way to do normal communication. Nothing, just do an experiment. Don't worry, I only change one each time I split, but I don't know which one it is. The real man looked at the figure in the distance in pain and despair. The first time, it is the first time I regret what I have done. It really doesn't want to endure the pain of being forced to transform the soul a second time. But things will not follow what it thinks. 8 times the pain, 16 times the pain. Every time it reached the limit of a real person, a gentle curse entered its body. Used to repair its soul and body. Advertisement, then there's the next division, transformation, treatment, and the cycle. Itadori also gradually became a little frightened from the excitement before. He stared blankly at the situation in front of him. His ears were filled with the tragic cry of real people. Sukuna, Sukuna, come out. If you don't come out, you don't want to occupy my body if I die. Don't worry, if you die, I will leave here as quickly as possible. After that, no matter what Itadori shouted, Sukuna didn't respond. Diaresis Yuji, at this time, a weak voice appeared in his ear. The three followed the prestige. Found downstairs in the classroom, a weak figure appeared there. Shunping. Itadori looked at the man suspiciously, although his voice was a little familiar. But that face is really unrecognizable. Ha ha ha, Yuji, I'm alive. I'm alive. Oh. It would be great if I could get to know Mr. Ryuichi soon. Hearing the cry, the smile on Itadori's face slowly faded. He knew what Junpei Yoshino meant. If you could get to know Mr. Ryuichi earlier, Junpei Yoshino's mother might survive. I couldn't help sighing. That's where you don't know the horror of this person at all. Bring him around. Did you see that? It is the culprit of all this. Hearing Itadori's words, Junpei Yoshino almost rushed forward. Wang's good. Fortunately, he was stopped by 3 people. Don't be excited, don't be excited. What if you kill it now? Is it as miserable as it is now? Following Itadori's persuasion, Yoshino Junpei gradually calmed down. Only then did he realize that this space was wrong. The sky was covered by a pile of hair, and even the ground under my feet was soft and soft. It feels like stepping on a piece of straw, but this is not the focus of his attention. The point is that the pervert is now howling and howling. The scream of hell evil spirits was so sweet to his ears. Seeing the tragic situation that happened to the real person, a sorrow and sorrow came to my heart again. If I didn't know this guy, Mom wouldn't have died because of curse. Tick tick. The big teardrops slammed into the ground, and instantly penetrated into the soil. For a while, Itadori's originally frightened mood gradually calmed down.
Isn't this punishment just because it deserves it? Korea.
Chapter 386 Advertisement, kill me, kill me. Too painful. I don't want to be in pain anymore,
For an instant, the real person's mind flashed. All the real people began to tremble crazily.
It seems to break away from the control of the hair. Shocking. All real people gathered together at this moment. The body gradually returned to its original state.
Bang! A thick tail appeared behind him. The face that originally belonged to a human being condensed into a ball at the moment.
2 black blades appeared on its elbows. The curse power in his body grew wildly, completely at a different level from the previous real person. Ha ha ha. Thank you. If it weren't for being split like this, I don't know how much time it would take to perceive this form. To thank you, I will kill someone to cheer up. Who are you going to kill? The frivolous voice before came out again.
The terrifying curse power radiated from his body. Wei Yuan and others were shocked by this momentum and backed away again and again.
Call. 3 giant jellyfish appeared beside Yoshino at the same time.
The light blue transparent body looks so beautiful in this space.
As for the appearance of these 3 gods, Itadori was taken aback. When the 2 fought before, there was only one, but now is not the time to think about this. Take a deep breath. The faint blue spell power wrapped his fists. To deal with this cursed spirit, his fist is the best weapon.
Wei Yuan's face was solemn, and his body couldn't help shaking at this moment.
The breath of this cursed spirit is far beyond the scope of ordinary special grade cursed spirit. Few of them have no chance to win. The meaning of despair is only a moment.
As a jujutsu teacher, even if you die, you must die in the process of fighting the cursed spirit.
Just when the 3 of them were in a tight formation, Nanami Kento's calm voice appeared in their ears. Don't worry, my boss won't let it be so arrogant.
It seems to be responding to him. Next moment, Ryuichi's voice sounded again.
Have you forgotten where you are? Ha ha ha. What about your field? Now the soul is completely under my control.
Advertisement. Want to make it split, he. You let it split. You let it move. Chi. The voice just fell. The hair inside the real person began to stir.
But at this moment, nothing happened. Feeling everything in the body, the real person's ugly face began to tremble now.
Ha ha ha. Ha. There is no other way. Maybe I can't kill you. But none of them want to run.
As soon as his arm was raised, a hurricane was set off. Then he laughed wildly again, as if to vent all the pain before.
Hearing the truth, Ryuichi's mouth was frivolous.
There was a joke in the moon-white eyes. What if I let you change back? The flat voice floated in the entire space. Upon hearing this, the members and others looked at the figure under the blood moon in shock. Can someone really degenerate the cursed spirit? The 3 looked at each other and saw the fear in each other's heart.
If it does, is it still a human being? Single quote. Different from the shock of 3 people.
Nanami Kento looked at everything in front of him with a plain face. The name Zenin Ryuichi is for the employees of Wanshiwu. That is synonymous with God. The real person was shocked when he heard this. The original arrogance was actually wiped out. Is this guy lying to me? Take a defensive stance in an instant, for fear that Ryuichi will make a sneak attack. You don't need to be so nervous, just relax. My way, you can't stop it. A trace of scarlet flashed in Ryuichi's eyes. Spirit body degenerates. As soon as the 4 characters come out, they seem to be transformed into substance and carved into this space. For a while, ripples appeared in the space around Ryuichi. It's like a sound wave diverging from one side to the surroundings. It seems slow, but it's as fast as lightning. It was transmitted to every corner of this space in an instant. Ah. Why? Impossible. I have understood the final form. How could it be possible to retreat back? Fake. They're all fake. You must be lying to me. With the miserable cry, the extra parts of his body were shrinking one by one. It seemed as if there was an invisible hand behind it, pinching the extra part of its body back. Compared to the joy of evolution, this feeling is now tantamount to being divided. Not long after, the original real person was reading in front of everyone. Advertisement, welcome back, with the sound falling. The previous screams continued to sound. It was a scream that went deep into the bones and soul. Under this scream, the smile on Ryuichi's face was deeply carved into the souls of several people. Under the blood moon, above the throne, a white robe, life and death. At the same time, outside the enchantment, the sky was dark. The group of onlookers had changed batch after batch. What's the matter with them? Why don't you let us in? That is to say, my child should have left school a long time ago. Why are you not even allowed to enter school now? Fortunately, my child is playing truant today, otherwise I might be worried here too. Is there no one in charge? After making so many calls, don't you even have a reporter? The parents outside are still arguing. After all, it was time for school, but the child did not move. It will not calm down on anyone else's body. Squeak. There was another brake sound. Everyone looked back. It was found to be a police car. The back door opened, and a tall man with a face mask and silver hair came down. Why are you here now? We have been on the phone for a long time. Hurry up and get these people in, they kidnapped my child. Not to mention it's okay, this said, it directly dropped the parents' hearts. For these things, Gojo Satoru naturally ignored them. Gojo Satoru got out of the car and became the object of parents to talk to. Reprimanded the people in black who were guarding the door. Believe it or not, they will succeed in rescuing the child. Everyone, be quiet, I already know what's going on inside. This morning, a suspect escaped into the school. Currently, he took the students inside as hostages. Colleagues have already entered and negotiated with them. This seems to be Zenin Ryuichi's domain. At this moment, he approached the door, feeling the breath from above. Subsequently, medical staff appeared on both sides of the school. Directly pull the fainted parent away. They are murdering. I suspect that my child has suffered an accident. It seems that this kind of thing is not uncommon. All the actions were done in one go. With his right hand resting on his chin, his brows were lightly frowned, as if thinking. Some parents even couldn't accept it for a while and lay directly on the ground. Chapter 387 Advertisement within the field. It seems that time is going backwards. The real person is back in the painful cycle again. But this time, it really didn't even have any thoughts of resistance. Kill me. Kill me. Hurry up, Yoshino. Don't you hate me very much? Isn't this a great opportunity? Come and kill me? Countless real people looked at Yoshino Junpei, with despair in their eyes. Just want to quickly end this endless pain. Junpei Yoshino gritted his teeth, his eyes flickering. Compared to killing it directly, this kind of punishment seems to be more in line with the expectations. Let it survive. No death. Another half hour passed. There are real people all over the campus. At this moment, it is no longer beautiful, with his eyes turned up and his mouth open. Drool flows down unconsciously. The body began to twitch involuntarily. After hearing the screams for so long, Wei Yuan's hearts were already numb. The expression seemed so stiff at the moment. Ryuichi glanced at Full Hand's progress bar. Full Hand's proficiency reached 70%. The bottleneck has been reached. Even if the real person continues to be transformed, it will not be able to squeeze a trace of proficiency. There was a trace of boredom in Ryuichi's eyes. After all, watching a single show repeatedly for half an hour would be boring to anyone. Even if it's good, it's the same. Then waved. Chi. The hair in the sky seemed to be instructed, began to stir frantically in the real person. At this moment, the real person recovered. Feel the chaos in the body. There was a relieved smile on his face. Looking at the white clothes under the moonlight, those mandarin ducks looked grateful. Ha ha ha. Zenin Ryuichi, thank you for freeing me. This sentence is very light, and it looks like a small chat between friends. Hoo. Following this, the lower body of all real people resembled sand in the wind. Slowly disappeared into the field. These pains are for real people now. Advertisement, it's like being pinched by an ant. As he was about to disappear, he shouted. Ha ha ha. Zenin Ryuichi. I look forward to the day when you become a cursed spirit. By then, we might become friends. Ha 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 ha. Rustle. After a gust of wind passed, the real person disappeared into the realm. Seeing the scattered power of the curse, Ryuichi's eyes were full of disgust. This is the second time I have such emotions towards cursed spirit. The curse power in it was too disgusting, and countless negative emotions floated into space. Raising his hand gently, he condensed these curse powers into a ball and threw it in the corner of the field. When the matter was over, Ryuichi's eyes flickered. Feeling the arrival of Gojo Satoru, the corners of his mouth screamed. He's the matter here. Itadori, tell Gojo Satoru about today's deal and he will know what to do. After speaking, Ryuichi's figure disappeared into the realm. The entire space began to shrink upward. The hair between heaven and earth climbed up frantically, like a child sneaking home. For fear of being shut out by their parents, the blood moon gradually disappeared, and the real starry sky appeared in front of everyone. Everything is so illusory and so real, base. A figure appeared in front of them. Hi, Haibara, Itadori, and Nanami Kento are here too. What about your boss? Is he in there yet and hasn't come out yet? Feel the end of the field. Gojo Satoru flashed directly on the campus. Seeing their stiff expressions, there was a little speculation in their hearts, and they couldn't help looking around. No need to look for it, the boss has already left. Besides, all the students here are in the gym. What to do next, I believe you know better than me. I won't stay longer. For the remaining 4 days, I will have a good rest. Hear that the matter is over. Before Gojo Satoru arranged, medical staff from outside the school rushed in. Go straight to the gym and save the most people in the shortest time to minimize the impact of this incident. And Nanami Kento took advantage of this time, walked upstream, put on a suit, and disappeared into the crowd. It's all over. Why are you all with this expression? After everyone entered the campus, Gojo Satoru turned around and looked at Itadori and others. Is this a blow? No, we were just shocked by some things. Yoshino Junpei rubbed his stiff face. Advertisement. Although the tragic death of a real person caused a blow to several people. But for him, What it brings is more of a kind of comfort after successful revenge. This child has unusual potential in his body, seeking flowers. Gojo Satoru touched his chin with his right hand, pondering for a moment. Are you interested in coming to our Jujutsu college? As soon as this was said, Yoshino Junpei recalled what Itadori had said before. There are great teachers and reliable companions here. Can I really have all of this now? It feels so unreal. Yes, Mr. Gojo, he was like joining Jujutsu college before then. Itadori on the side rushed to answer, for fear of missing this opportunity to join. Okay, follow Itadori back to school tomorrow to make a report on this matter, and then let Wei Yuan take you through enrollment. Hearing this news, Itadori jumped up happily and ran to Junpei, pulling his shoulders with both hands, and said excitedly. Great Shunping. We will be classmates from now on. 0. Looking at Itadori's white pair, without a trace of magazine eyes. Asaro and sorrow rushed to his nose again, eyes full of tears.
N. The voice is slightly hoarse, even with a crying voice, but the touch contained in this voice can still be heard.
Once he worked hard to live in the world, just to let his mother have a good living environment in the future. Even the words of the real person before he died were a little bit overwhelming for him. However, all of this was destroyed by his own hands.
The last trace of nostalgia for mankind in his heart also completely dissipated.
At this moment of desperation, Itadori was like a lighthouse, tearing a hole in his dark, closed heart. Even he almost died because of it. By the way, what happened before? Why did you see ghosts when you came out? Lighted up a way forward for him. Gojo Satoru approached Huihara, wondering what happened before. Hearing the question, Wei Yuan had a wry smile on his face.
He will keep this kindness in his heart until he dies.
It's the kind of jujutsu that resembles a curse. It's just that the way it is used is it makes it difficult to accept for a while. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running.
What Uehara said was the truth. Whether it is the initial split or deformation.
Gojo Satoru Senpei, you said, if you and Zenin Ryuichi die, will you become a cursed spirit like Ryōmen Sukuna?
It's nothing. Mr. Zenin Ryuichi helped to solve a special cursed spirit.
All left a very deep impression in their hearts. Chapter 388.
Advertisement. Uehara's question was very heavy.
As we all know, Jujutsu Master has a certain chance to transform into cursed spirit after death.
The higher the level of the Jujutsu teacher, the greater the chance of being transformed into a cursed spirit. The two people, Gojo Satoru and Zenin Ryuichi, are now at the top of the Jujutsu world.
It can be said that no one in the world can kill them.
Such a person becomes a cursed spirit, and the harm it causes to the world will be immeasurable.
For the same reason, see Ryōmen Sukuna. After becoming cursed spirit, the entire Jujutsu world is looking for his fingers. I'm afraid that in an unknown place, Ryōmen Sukuna took the opportunity to resurrect. Haha. Are you afraid of this? Gojo Satoru took off the blindfold and looked at the starry sky. The white dress appeared in the blue eyes. At that time, you just wait to be our enemies. Speaking is very natural, as if telling a common thing. 607 Generally speaking, the Jujutsu division killed by the curse will not turn into a cursed spirit. And after they killed the Jujutsu division, they would treat their bodies specially. Used to prevent them from corpse transformation. But this method obviously does not apply to him and Ryuichi. Stronger than the two of them, it is impossible to allow yourself to be killed by the curse. Nor will he allow his own body to be studied wantonly by others. Hear the answer. The last words of the real man reverberated in Wei Yuan's mind. Will human beings really become extinct in the future? Nahaha. We are still young now. Why do you want so much? With that, Gojo Satoru walked to his side and slapped his hand on his shoulder. The whole person seemed to hang up. Haha, when I die old, our generation of Jujutsu Master will basically be dead. What are you doing so much? Moreover, Ryuichi and I both belong to people and don't mess with me. I have a non-disturbing character. Don't bother us when the time comes, isn't it all right? It seems to be making an idea, but how to hear it, I think it is in Versailles. Hearing more makes Wei Yuan's heart choked, hiss, woo. After taking a deep breath, Wei Yuan exhausted all the depression in his heart. That's right, the sky is falling and there is a tall man against it. Even if the world is destroyed in the future, they will just touch the lowest at that time. Invisible, let alone help. Thank you senior, I am fine now. By the way, have you seen Senior Sha Yuja recently? Hearing the name, Gojo Satoru's smile faded away. Advertisement silently tied the blindfold back. He is working hard for his goal. The two have barely met since Ryuichi left the customs. Except for the fact that there was his shadow behind the last appearance incident. He can hardly be seen in the Jujutsu world. Am I happy about this? When Huihara saw Gojo Satoru's appearance, he couldn't help sighing. He didn't know the relationship between the two. In order to stick to their beliefs, the two finally parted ways. Hey, all thoughts finally turned into a sigh. By the way, Mr. Gojo Satoru, I made a deal with Zenin Ryuichi at school. Afterwards, Itadori explained the cause and effect of the incident. Yoshino Junpei looked at the teacher nervously. After all, what happened here is his responsibility. If you lose friends because of this again, he didn't know if he was still in the mood to accept this world. Okay, I see. During this time, you continue to learn from Wei Yuan. What about Junpei? Hearing that, Itadori also looked at Gojo Satoru nervously. Haha, of course he wants to go back to school to study. You two don't know how to summon Shiki, it's best for him to learn from Megumin. The voice fell off. Both Itadori and Junpei were relieved. Haha, Shunping, we will be classmates from now on. Yes, but it's a pity that I can't come out with you on the task. Yoshino Junpei said, after all, he only knows Itadori at the moment. It feels very free to be with him. If you go to a new environment, you have to get familiar with it again. For him during this period of time, it was still quite tormenting. It's okay, we have two classmates in the first grade, one is called Fushiguro Megumi, who looks cool on the outside, but the people are nice. With him on missions, I will feel relieved. There is also a female classmate named Kugisaki Nobara, but don't underestimate her because he is a girl. If she gets serious, she will be even better than an average man. Hearing the entanglement in his heart, Itadori began to enthusiastically introduce their classmates. Let him know some other people's preferences before entering school, so that he can become friends with those people as soon as possible. Looking at the two excitedly on one side, Huihara still said what was in his heart, after all, waiting for those classmates to wake up. This matter can't be hidden. Senior Gojo, this kid, what will happen to the above advertisement, that Yoshino Junpei is dead, isn't it? Wei Yuan was stunned by this sentence. Gojo Satoru smiled and patted him on the shoulder. Well, you go back and write a report on this matter to me, and this matter is over. Base. The figure disappeared. Huihara looked at where he left, feeling the residual temperature on his shoulders. A smile gradually appeared on his face. Let's go. Find a place to sleep. Tomorrow I will meet in the college and transfer the school to Shunping. At the same time, another piece of space. The waves were swept by the breeze towards the beach, and all the shrimps and crabs were swept into the sea. There is a huge parasol on the beach. A figure is lying down and resting comfortably. Buzzing. Buzzing. Vibration occurred in the chest. Sure enough, is it still gone? Hearing this murmur, the head beside him was suddenly unhappy. What? Didn't they all said not to let it cause trouble? Why is it still dead? And you, don't you follow it? You are also responsible for its death? Suddenly, the surrounding temperature began to rise. In just a moment, the temperature of this beach reached 100 degrees Celsius. Calm down, it's so hot, I don't want to stay anymore. Then you say, what should I do about this? Oh, what's so difficult about this? Heihu Yongren took out the box in his arms. The spells that had originally covered them all disappeared. It looked like an ordinary dressing box. I've been watching you holding this thing before, what's the use of it? Hearing Ohu's question, Heihu Yongren's eyes were way mi. With long narrow eyes, it looks like a fishy fox. But a good thing. Snapped. The box opens. Help me, play with me, kill me, kill me. Luhu felt the power of the curse on the box. His eyes widened suddenly. This is the bondage you set with him?